Danger.
From what? You can't tell?
How do you know?
I don't sense anything. If she says we're in danger, we are.
He's right. Open your eyes, Alicia.
Run! Escape from the castle! This way, quickly.
Hurry! Quickly! I know. Don't rush us.
Just stop now. You guys.
Stop. Okay. Hello?
Hello.
I'm talking normally.
Hello.
As am I.
Silmeria,
Greetings and
return at
salutations, RPG fans.
Yo, I can hear my boy Aether.
Huh.
All that matters.
We're here in the great state of Utah tonight, here in Salt Lake
once. I
City.
won't return to Valhalla.
This guy. His best Dota 2 answer this.
Heck yeah. Pretty soon you're gonna see me get deals for pizza.gg.
Deals with pizza.gg, he says.
You'll disobey.
Yeah.
Game audio is
I can
fine.
hear
Game
it.
audio's good.
Sounds fine to me.
So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's good for me, yeah.
Can hear it, and the voices are over the
Japan will not
game
be
audio, so it's
spared.
good.
Spoiler alert, the pan won't be spared.
Yeah,
Nice spoilers, dude.
Even though it's not really a spoiler since this
Yeah.
is a prequel.
yeah,
So-
and we kind of saw what happened to Japan in BP1.
Yeah.
Nice picture of the salt shaker on your notes
Yeah.
of notes, by the way.
I got
There
a
it is.
picture of a salt shaker right here, dude. Amazing.
You're ready.
Like
Oh,
it can't be
man.
notes with unless I doodle on it.
I see.
And it's so fitting for you to put salt on there. The salt is real?
Salt has always been real.
Yeah, it has.
There's no going back now.
There's no going back now.
Well, technically, she could go back, but it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah.
She has no damage. She's a light warrior.
Light worries, man.
Yeah, spoiler, she does go back.
Ghoul, one thing you guys might want to do, because I can't hear either you or Brosensha over the... Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's good. I
I'm good to
think
go.
so.
do
Yeah. If we're ready, we can probably go on.
All right, are you guys ready to roll?
About
My
as ready
body-
as I could be, I guess.
My body's
You
ready.
can never be ready for this game. There's too many ways to get killed.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do to prepare for what this game does.
So just give me the okay and we can probably start.
Just count down whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, let me take a second before we start to say that I apologize in advance if we don't get to talk about any of the lore of this game because there's a lot of gameplay stuff that happens. So my couch crew. So this is Aether, Garrick, and Nitrodon, and I'm Tide. So we'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go.
All right, so this is Valkyrie Profile 2, the sequel/prequel to the first Valkyrie Profile game. And right off the bat, we will pretty much be introducing our first speed tech, which is just hopping around. So this looks kind of silly, but jumping in this game is faster than moving forward and running. So ideally, whenever we're moving from one location to another, we want to be hopping as much as possible. The sole exceptions are like when the doorway is really nearby, then I want to try to walk there, because if I'm in the air, when I could just have hit down or something to cross, then that will end up wasting time, so I don't want to do that. The game will also auto-relocate unless it's like a transition area, so I can just mash X to get into these places. So we're going to get a tutorial battle very soon, and it's very important I skip this tutorial battle. It's the most important skip of the game.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Yeah. It's a really, really long
Because they introduce everything in this tutorial, so you want to be able to skip it. So one of the things that this game introduces is a lot of positioning elements. So in many fights, you see that I'm going to be attacking enemies from the back. This is because when you attack enemies from the back, their evade and guard rates go down to 0. The other thing that happens is you get a 50% damage bonus, which is crucial to the course of the run. So whenever we can, we're going to be jumping to the back of the enemies. And one of the other things that you might have noticed I did was I kind of dashed forward or hopped forward. So this is a mechanic in this game where enemies in this game don't move until you start moving, and each enemy has like a red targeting area that determines the type of attack and what attack they're using. As long as you're not within the red targeting area, you won't get attacked. So when you do a dash, what happens is the enemies can't hit you, so you can kind of dash across their attack zones and get behind them. There's also this mechanic I'm doing right now, which is, oops, the photon. I'm thinking far too ahead in advance. So when I fire a photon, just like in the first Valkyrie profile, I can freeze a target, except in the first Valkyrie profile we shoot crystals. The interesting thing is when I shoot another photon at an enemy who's already frozen, I will switch positions with them. And if I hold down the jump button, I can actually mid-air jump. So these are important elements throughout the course of the game. So while I'm going to get ready and doing some other stuff, can somebody on the couch just explain some of the stuff in battle, such as like the treasure gauge and the AP gauge, because those are pretty new concepts. Also, nice smashing.
Well, if you saw in the battle that just happened, you saw that there's a gauge on the bottom, a yellow gauge. That's the action points, obviously. And each action that you take, whether you're just dashing across the battlefield or actually attacking, you obviously deplete the bonus gauge, not the bonus gauge, the AP gauge. And the main thing is that you want to really manage it well and actually know how much AP you're going to need exactly to do what you need. And was that Roland?
Yeah, it was.
That's unfortunate.
Of course it was Roland. It's
So-
a marathon one. Why wouldn't it be Roland?
Yeah,
So what happened? Go ahead, National.
yeah. All these artifacts are how you get your own hero in this game. You don't just have these big plot scenes where they die, or like in VP1.
Yeah.
But each artifact has a random chance of being one of 2 or 3. Well, some of them are just one on Harrier. So that one has a 50% chance of being Crod, which you would prefer, and a 50% chance of being Roland, which is what we got.
Yeah. You don't want Roland because Roland is slower, but this is an RTA, so I'm not save scumming. Plus, I said that I'm going to be doing Alicia route. So you'll get to see how amazingly ridiculous everything gets. So I should mention in advance that I didn't route this game. This route is a combination of Rizard, who's the current North American world record holder, and Taka09, also known as Takeshi. So if you like Valkyrie Profile 2, I strongly suggest you follow him, because that guy is much better at this game than any North American player will ever be.
Wow.
Yeah, not even joking. But Either can talk about how good Takeshi is, because he makes me look like a chump.
Well, if you become Japanese, dude,
If I become Japanese!
you too can become Takeshi.
All right, we're approaching the first boss of the game, Ballistic Rhino.
Okay, I'm just doing a menu here.
Yeah.
And this is important, so somebody can explain about the multipliers as well.
Each attack that you see here have different multipliers attached to them.
In-
So, you know, each attack differs between how strong they are, the multiplier, and how many attacks they do, and what the actual attack animation is. So for battles, when you see him switching attacks, he's basically preparing himself for the best way to actually attack the boss or whatever he happens to be fighting at the time. Because sometimes you may not want the best attack. Rather, you want an attack that hits a certain way to accomplish something, which we'll see in a couple fights from now. But for now, right here, you can see he used the Thunder Gem to soften up the enemy here. Gems will be used quite a lot in the run. And now he is attempting to do a strategy since he got Roland instead of Crad, where he has to use 3 characters instead of just 2. So it's a lot harder to pull off this strategy here.
And his goal here is to get a direct assault, which will give him an item that he needs and extra experience.
Yeah, the experience is the killer thing, but I don't think I'm gonna get it because I made a mistake.
Yep.
Because the enemy pathing in this game is so good, dude.
You only have a certain number of actions in order to get the direct assault.
Yeah, well, it's based on time, and the time spent during attack animations counts. Time spent just standing still, not doing anything, doesn't count, because nothing happens in battle when you're just standing still.
Which is why he changed his attacks around and why he didn't attack with Mithra there, because it would just be a waste of time and it would affect his direct assault, his chance to get a direct assault.
And a waste of AP.
Magic in this game is
Not
garbage.
good.
Nitro Don can probably tell you because he's done like an increased max difficulty run with 50 crystals. Mages are not good attackers. They're good support units, and I went the wrong way because I'm good.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, you were trying to sneak into the castle. You need to get those guards off shift first.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you recall from BP1, magicians such as Lizard Valith happen to be some of the strongest characters in the game because of their soul crusher. I mean, Purify, Weird Soul. Yeah, it's different in in that game. But here, Magic really took a huge nerf in comparison.
Yeah, it's primarily there for like status effects and to kind of like buff your allies.
I like Might Reinforce. That's a spell.
Yeah. That's like the only good magic spell in the game.
Yeah, you get buff spells and you get stuff like... Well, spells are good early on when you run into ghost enemies, for example, which you need damage on, and your other attackers have no way of damaging them.
Ghost enemies can only take elemental damage.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a weapon that has elemental damage on it, like a holy weapon or fire weapon or anything like that, they just don't take damage.
Yeah, and Firestorm is just pretty powerful early in the game.
Yeah, fire magic in general in this game is really good.
Not that we're going to use it.
Yeah, we are going to use it.
We are?
Depending on what happens, yeah. Because one of the things that happened during that fight that we didn't talk about, but we're going to talk about now, is that I didn't direct assault Ballistic Rhino, which means that Mithra's experience is lower, which is bad.
Did we get 1 or 2, by the way?
We got level 1 Mithra. But I
good,
still have to do juggle strats because the strategy is to release Mithra as soon as possible, and the experience is extremely tight.
Yeah, you should talk about what you're even talking about. So
yeah, somebody cover for me because I'm in the middle of doing something important. Okay, go ahead.
The Hyperion in this game, including Mithra, you can release them. And they. Well, if they've gained 5 levels since you recruited them, you can release them, and they'll appear somewhere on the. Well, first they'll give you items, stat boosting items depending on their equipment, which doesn't matter for Mithra, and they'll appear somewhere in the world. And if you talk to them, they'll give you an item, or something, or money, or something else,
or nothing,
or nothing. Yeah. And Mithra gives you an item called Mithra's Holy Water, which does 10,000 damage to an enemy.
Yeah.
And we'll be using that for the boss later on.
And
so right now he's trying to get the double check, another very important item for the battle coming up.
Yeah, it increases, it doubles the experience gained in the current battle.
And he's going to be using it on the Primordial Ooze, which is the boss coming up.
Yep.
One of the things in this game is that the experience focuses, which means that the less people you have in your party, the more experience that person ends up getting. So what will happen during the fight with Primordial Ooze is we're going to get everybody killed. But because Mithra sucks at doing damage, we have to baby him, and our party is going to do all the work, then they're all going to get killed, and Mithra is going to hog all the experience, so we can release him as soon as possible. It's critical that we release him in this period, because otherwise we have to backtrack, and it takes like 3 minutes.
That's a common theme in most Tri-Ace games, is that experience is split amongst your active party.
Excellent.
Or surviving moving party. And a lot of these movements that he's doing where he's stunning, where he's photoning things in certain positions is to set up a return photon to save time is movement. The movement in this game with the photons is incredibly tight. And on top of that, the photons are really weird in some of their interactions with that. I mean, he's like earlier today in practice, one photon went, hit something, and then the photon that was right behind it at the exact same level went right past it. So it's like, it's very hard to hit it. The hitbox is very strange on them and seems to vary even.
Somebody want to talk about splitting teams?
Yeah.
We're going to use that mechanic right here.
Yeah, you can split into 2 teams based by pressing D-pad up and down. So anyone close enough on the same team as the currently active character just follows you around if they're close enough and on the same team, which I just said. Yeah,
the distance that Nitro mentioned is important, so keep that in mind, by the way, because we're gonna abuse that mechanic later down the line, and I have to make sure this jump is good and it's bad. Okay.
Uh-oh.
What a good dash.
So he's trying to stay behind the ooze, of course, to get the most damage out of it. He needs to weaken this thing to about 45, 50-ish% HP, so Mythra can one-shot it with the fire gem he picked up a little while ago.
Yeah, the important thing to note is that I'm not using all the attacks on all the characters. I want to use Rufus's absolute wave here because it juggles the enemy.
Oh yeah, crystals. We need to talk about those.
That's bad.
So
Die, please.
He needs to generate more crystals in order to get enough experience for Mythra because he wasn't able to direct assault Ballistic Rhino earlier. So he not only has to damage this boss, but also keep on generating crystals.
Yeah, and you generate crystals by hitting the monster while it's in midair.
Yeah. So the fight becomes a lot harder if you make a mistake in a previous battle, which is a common recurring theme in this game.
Common recurring theme.
Yeah.
It's because I'm bad, man.
It's not because you're bad, it's because the game is incredibly punishing. This game is very difficult.
As a speedrun, yeah.
Okay! Nice hitbox! Thank you!
What?
That was
Did
great,
just,
actually.
That attack should have hit more than one.
That should have hit all of them, but it didn't.
BabyRage!
Yeah, so now
Cat
he has
spam,
to,
BabyRage.
Yeah, so now he has to watch one more animation. That boss...
Did he use a double check?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
First thing you always do is use a double check. It's really easy to forget.
Yeah.
And that kills the boss, obviously. So now Mythra's going to hog all the experience. He should get to level 7.
Level 6, so he's done. Yep. We can release him.
Yeah, each crystal you get adds 1.8 something percent of the experience that the battle normally gives. In getting a direct assault, which is what we're trying to do against Ballistic Rhino, gives you 30 crystals automatically.
Yeah. And because I didn't get the direct assault, I'm short experience, which is why we had to do the juggle strats there.
Yeah.
So that was developed by a runner called Doc Ray. So before we figured that out, it used to be that if you didn't direct assault Ballistic Rhino, you had to reset the game. And before we looked into figuring out how to do Alicia route, you had to reset the game if you didn't get Crad and you didn't get level 1 Mythra, because as we mentioned earlier, you want to be at a lower level to be able to release Mythra quickly because the experience requirements quickly ramp up. So, like, for the longest time, most of this game was like you just reset within the first 5 minutes. So Aether was like preparing himself to do the commentary and just reviewing my notes, and he was insistent on trying to get the best loadout. And by the time I was like done the game, he was still like stuck in the first chapter. So yeah, it's one of those games where it's like you either learn all the different ways that you can actually progress through the game, or you just sit there and you just reset like hours, because it's not a really friendly game at all. So I picked up the Hill Drake. Okay.
That was exactly the situation right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. It makes no sense to the photons.
This game. I picked up the Hilldrake sword there because I have the Black Crystal. So we need that sword for a future fight that's coming up. Because I promised my friend, good old user Richard, that if I get the exact loadout that I have right now, I would do the really complex strat at least once, which will probably mean I'll end up dying.
And this is why you want to release Mythra right then, because you're literally right next to him.
Like, this is important, because if you end up leaving this area, you have to come back to grab it. And it's literally still faster, but you lose time, because we used to do like an entire different route where you have to go through like a side dungeon to pick up an extra item, but we don't do that anymore because the Holy Water Mithra lets you one-shot one of the harder bosses. So, by the way, like everything you see in the first 30 minutes of this game is actually really easy, but it's like after the first 30 minutes of this game, the game just goes into overdrive and just gives you like no breaks. It's just battle after battle that's just like you could die any second. So
Whenever you want, we do have some donation comments too.
this would be a good time since we're crossing a short area, but be quick with it because we're getting back to gameplay really soon.
I'm trying. Okay. Anonymous gave $40 and said, I see that naming Surge Chrono is off limits. That's fine. But I also noticed that it's not off limits to the other characters. Put $5 towards naming everyone else Chrono. And $50 from Snowfire. They say, hey, Tide, if somehow all characters were available from the start of the game but without initial equipment and they never left, what'd be the optimum speedrun party? It would involve Leon, wouldn't it?
Get out.
Zunde. It would be Zunde.
I think it would still be
Zunde.
Yeah, it'd be Zunde.
It's possible that one of the other like plot characters that joins in Chapter 6 may be faster, but I highly doubt it. Like, you still need to use Valkyrie, so maybe she'll be better. But we'll get to that in a second. Anyways, we're in the 3rd chapter now, so yes. The game seems to roll by really quickly, but this is like the longest chapter in the game. So what we're doing right now is like there's a war that's happening between the pawn and the gods. So Lisha left the kingdom because like Silmeria's consciousness is part of her, and it warned her that this is going to happen, so she's trying to get outside help, and they're trying to figure out where the dragon orb is now, which is one of the 4 treasures in the land, because they want to use it to combat Odin. So we pick up the Earth Gem, or Earth Crystal, in there, because we need to use it for one of the fights that we're going to get into. And then we have to talk to this girl, because then she opens up the pathway to the next area.
Arbitrary story triggers or
Yeah,
arbitrary?
well, you have to know about it in order to know to go there.
Yeah. Fair.
So we are about to enter the Surberg Mountain Ruins, and this is the first time the game gives us seal stones. So, Nitrodon, could you explain seal stones to people?
Yeah, the seal stones, well, you can only hold one of them. You can get items to hold more, but you can't, but you don't get them in a speed run. So, if they're sitting on a dice, like this one that the plot directs us to look at right now, they give some bonus, could be good, bad, or neutral, or ambivalent, to all enemies in that area, which is basically any contiguous area not separated by either empty dices or divinity voids, which we'll get into divinity voids in like a few minutes.
Yeah, divinity voids, by the way, are the worst part of this game, because you can't shoot photons in them.
Yep.
Nice. We did it. So that is a skip that I called the Takeshi skip, because that method of putting the globe onto the position into the center of the placement, the ruin or whatever, was first done by Taka09. Like, none of the NA runners even did it. But if you do it properly, like that, it saves like 10 seconds. But it's like if you mess up, you lose like 6 seconds or more.
Yeah, because that orb can break if it falls too far.
Yeah, and it's like the positioning is really precise.
Yeah, that's a very difficult trick to do.
No, the one we can't see the enemies is in the first room with the tutorial. So, oh yeah, it is. It's like called the fog graph or something. Please. Oh, there we go. Okay, divinity voids. So these places suck because, as we touched upon, you can't shoot photons.
And this jump right there is actually incredibly deceiving. It looks really easy, but I've hit that enemy a bunch trying to jump over him.
No, they don't. So, in like a regular game, it's also really bad because Seal Stones is like one of the strongest effects in this game because they provide an end damage multiplier, and somebody can explain multipliers because that's basically what this game ends up being about. So I don't know who's more confident with it. It's also super cheap to restore, and somebody can explain that mechanic as well, because
Save
restoring
time.
it is very important.
Tie.
Yeah.
Save.
Oh. I should be fine!
I know
It's
you
Wyvern. I'm not worried about, like, the first 30 minutes until we get to Kraken. But...
Nice.
Yeah, those gems you get in Effort Battle, they don't just give you more experience. You keep those gems and you can spend them to restore skills. That basically means you can take them out of the weapon.
Yeah, so what Nitrodon is saying is really important, because that Sword Blessing Sealstone we picked up is one of the most important parts of the run, because it's like a free 20% damage, and to restore... Like, the game tries to balance this by making, like, really good steel stones, what they think are really good steel stones, really expensive. But, like, all the good steel stones, by the way, are, like, super cheap. So
Yeah.
that's one of them.
And he's going to use a strat here to defeat this boss really easily.
Nice. Yeah.
The Wyvern is obviously flying.
So the downside of doing this is you don't get any experience and you don't get any skill learning points. But you still get crystals. So we don't care about the experience because this game is basically YOLO incarnate. You pretty much live or die with one life. No continues.
And transferring skills can be done at streaks like that one or any place.
Yeah. So normally you can't restore the Sealstone that early, but because we did the juggle strat, we have enough crystals to do it. So it speeds up one of the rooms a little bit, but not by a lot.
Yeah, normally
Yeah.
casual players have more of them.
That was
Very
close.
But if we got into an encounter, we'll have been okay. Because I had to fight one of these to get enough skill learning points, because we need to learn some skills. Yeah, one of you can explain this. This is why I have my couch crew here, because, again, there's too much going on. Wow.
So you notice way back you made the equal stuff. And 45 degrees. And
The leader was mine.
so you can link runes together.
Yep.
And it has two effects. If you link accessories together, the accessories effects have a slight bonus. So if something's normally plus 5% attack, it might be plus 6 or plus 7 attack percent. I don't remember the exact numbers anymore.
Yeah, it gives you a bonus, but it does end up mattering in this route. Like, that's how tight the requirements are. Also, when I fire 3 photons and I miss all of them, I can't fire any more photons for a brief period of time. So accuracy is extremely important.
Okay, so
And as you can see, my accuracy is
I can
not
actually
very
hear
good.
myself now. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you have links, if you can also link certain different runes together, and different combinations correspond to different skills that you can later certain skills, and you can. So if once you win a battle, you gain some points toward learning those skills, and once you learn the skills, you can equip them and use them.
Yeah, you can think of it sort of like the way FF9 does it, where it's like,
Yeah,
wow.
but except instead of one piece of equipment like FF9, it's just a combination of runes.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only difference.
So I have to set up a small ladder here to get up on top of the roof.
Yeah, you didn't get the Great Eagle Heart,
Nope.
which is way better than this item.
Yeah, the Great Eagle Heart is a gray accessory, which means that you can only have one equipped is all it takes, and it works. It gives you 15% additional damage, which is nice to have. So he's going to get a Ram's Heart, I think, right?
Ram's
Ram's
horn, yeah.
Horn, yeah.
Horn. And
Yeah.
the horn does
That's
like
5%.
5%.
3%. It's
Oh,
not even
3.
5. You have to
Dang.
link it to get like a 5%. That's
So
what we
what-
were saying beforehand.
So what are the two skills that you're learning right now?
Oh, yes, good point. I'm learning Fist of Iron and Beast Bludgeon. So both skills will get used. Beast Bludgeon will only get used for a very short period, but Fist of Iron will be super important because it's a 20% boost to your attack stat.
Yeah.
And it's only 2 CP. That's one of the major reasons why you get it. So CP is capacity points, and if you play like another Trice game like Star Ocean 3, capacity points are in that game too, which kind of restrict the number of battle skills you can do. In this game, it restricts the number of passive skills you can set.
Yeah, so I think you start with 4 CP in game 2
2
every 10 levels?
No,
10
not every 10. It's like 2 every like 3 or 4 levels or
I
something.
think it's 2 every 10 levels up to 12.
I'm not exactly sure the
Level- at level
exact
40.
rate, yeah. But the important thing is that the way this game is routed, it's really optimized. So your CP kind of is fixed
Right.
at certain points. You can kind of predict where it's going to be.
You end up with 12 at level 20.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I think it's
it
like
is 5
5.
levels. Well, I know it's 12 at the end. It doesn't go beyond 12. Yeah, that actually, yeah, 20 makes more sense. 40 is too high.
Yeah,
And the
40
other-
is way too high.
Sorry.
Yeah,
But I haven't touched this game in a few years.
That's fine. You probably know more about this game mechanically than I do. I just know how to run the game and like try not to die.
All right.
So we're now in the water aqueduct ruins or whatever.
Yeah. We haven't heard any donations in a while. How about some of those? We got any?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we do. What would runner's choice be, by the way?
I'm not exactly sure actually what's on deck. Give me a quick lowdown.
Let's see. Well, coming up fairly soon, we do have the Suikoden choices for names. Further down, Etrian Odyssey, I know that we're looking for several names. Let me look for any incentives. Level 1 Unknown Battle for Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix. That's $60 out of 500. Second Densetsu 3 Glitchless Any Percent is at $60 out of 200.
Let's put money towards that because I know that DMC Aether is working really hard with that game. So
Cool.
if you show off more of it, then I think everybody would appreciate it.
Hey, sounds good.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Okay,
Save.
so back
Save.
to.
Save.
Yes, thank you. I was saying that I should be saving. So there's a very slim chance I can die in this fight, but otherwise it's a really easy fight because you remember that Holy Water of Mithra that we picked up at like the very start of the game? Well, we're gonna use it on this boss. So this item does a fixed amount of damage, and the way Tri-Ace games are is like the HP just balloons into a massive figure very, very quickly. So the effectiveness of this item is kind of short-lived, but if we use it right now, we one-shot this boss, and then we don't have to worry about him.
You're supposed to go to the back and break, 2 switches or chains or whatever to
Yeah.
drain the water. But you can kill him while he's still in the water, so no reason to waste time.
So yeah, GG, he's dead. And we pick up a very important item called the Divine Time Giver. So
Yeah.
somebody can explain why that item is super important.
Am I being volunteered again?
Probably,
all right.
unless one of you guys want to take care of it.
Okay, so you have a set number of attacks, and depending on your weapon, you have a set sequence of attacks. So before beating Kraken, you can only attack do that cycle of attacks once, and that's it. Can't do anything. You have to just wait until your entire attack round or whatever is done. With the Divine Time Giver, you can cycle through the attacks infinitely. So, give me an example. What does like? So if Dylan has like Absolute Strike and Heavyweight sets, you can do Absolute Strike, Heavyweight, and then nothing else. With
Yeah.
the Divine Time Giver, you can do Absolute Strike, Heavyweight, then Absolute Strike again, but it costs double AP, then Heavyweight again for double AP. Then do the same 2 attacks again for triple AP and so forth.
Yeah, it caps at like after ×4 or something, but by
Yeah.
then the attacks just cost way too much. But it sounds like it's a disadvantage, but it's actually really good if like you play any sort of advanced difficulty in this game because
If you're a button masher and don't know what you're doing, it's you
Yeah.
probably hate it.
yeah,
But-
it's really there to prevent you from mashing buttons because among other things that can happen in this game, if you press an attack too quickly after one of your attacks initiates and hits the enemy, you'll immediately cancel it and go to the next attack. So this ends up being kind of a detriment in some cases because if you mash the attack button too quickly, you lose damage. So you can't have that.
So you just picked up an item called the Map of the Western Lands, and what that does, it lets him come back here without having to go through a dungeon later.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a dungeon.
There are
but
Yeah, and a walk through like the plains.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are 3 sections of the world map: the Northlands, Westlands, and the Eastlands.
Yeah.
And there are 3 corresponding maps, and if you have the map, you can go to that section from anywhere without going through someplace like
The Silent Desert,
Silent
which
Desert.
we're about to get into. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as we get past Hallstatt.
So there's a very important shop we have to kind of do here. So I have to buy stuff because we got 50,000 off because that's our prize for releasing Roland. But we need to buy some accessories and we need to buy some items. So among them, I'm gonna buy. Let's see, I'm gonna need an apothecary, and I'm going to need a Nedune's apple, and we're gonna buy some extra union plumes because it's important. And the other thing that I do nowadays is I also sell Alicia's robe. So I know Rizard swears by the fact that you shouldn't sell the robe, but I will always sell the robe because it's an extra $2,000. And having an extra $2,000 just to buy extra plumes is really helpful. Because then you're not short on plumes afterwards, and this is really bad menuing.
You saw us, you heard us earlier when we said that getting Roland there was unfortunate. Like, not only because he didn't start with Fists of Iron that Crad does, but also because of the release reward.
Yeah.
Like, you think like 50,000 money, and I'm like, oh wow, 50,000 off, that's amazing. No, that's really bad.
Yeah,
because
it's
Of
really
course, it's not as good as what Crad gives
yeah,
you.
Crad gives you a great sword, which is extremely powerful and pretty much carries you for the next couple dungeons. And you use it on a heavy warrior, obviously.
Yeah, to give you a relative frame of reference, the Cradicator is a 130 power sword and has 2 attacks. At this point in the game, and even when you're in Chapter 4, most of the weapons only have like 70 to 80 attack power. So it's like an immense power boost. So if you end up with Roland, you have to do these inferior strats. Not only are they slower because you don't have Crad, but they're a lot more dangerous, which you're going to find out once you get to Evolver, because, well, you'll see what happens when we get to Evolver. I'm bracing myself for the amount of salt that will be available once we
And
get
coming
there.
up is a heavy warrior artifact.
Yeah, this
And-
one makes or breaks if you're
If you're not
looking-
doing this route.
Yeah, because you have to get Zunde from this artifact, but the bad news is Zunde only appears 20% of the time. So we got
Nice.
our boy Din, which is exactly what I expected. Thank you, Din.
Who is
that's
awful.
the 50% one. That's the worst one, right?
He's terrible. He's super
He-
mediocre in every way.
Like, Takeshi actually has a route for Din, but it's
Yeah.
not that much faster than Alicia route.
I think he made that route because Rizard and I were like, oh yeah, Din sucks. So he's like, all right, challenge accepted. Sub
All
2
right.
first try.
I don't think there's that much to discuss in the middle of this dungeon, going through this dungeon, at least until you knock over the pillar, right?
There's a little bit more than that. So first of all, we got the Black Crystal, which increases our stats if we're under any sort of status condition.
Okay.
So there is a chest in this dungeon that can poison you. So you might be wondering, well, why don't you get into a battle and do it? Well, that's because battles at this point in the game are now super dangerous. The game expects you to be at like level 20. We're like level 3. So if I hit anything, we're probably going to die.
Yeah.
So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Every enemy in this dungeon can one-shot your entire party.
Yeah, it starts getting really dangerous really quickly. So I hope I
So
see.
yeah, the black. Did you say what the black crystal does?
I mentioned it briefly, yeah. 6% increase to all your stats, as long as you're under a status condition. Nice.
Nice.
So that guy's kind of hard to avoid, especially
Yeah,
if
here's
it's on an
this is
incline.
another divinity void.
Yeah. So again, we mentioned that you can't shoot photons. So if the enemies move in patterns that make it impossible to jump, you just have to sit there and wait. There's nothing you can do. It's again, it's one of the things that is really infuriating about this game, because especially in the American version, the AI patterns of how they move are not like fixed in some situations compared to the Japanese version. So you end up with some situations where like the enemies would just camp beside each other and Alicia can't jump over them, and there's nothing you can do about it.
All right. So I think we have time for a couple of donations.
Yeah, we have a few.
And we didn't actually get to read the donations.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true. All right, we have Gatewalker with $30 who said shoutouts to Tide from the DL Persona crew. Have fun with the run and try not to die. Donation goes to runner's choice.
Try not to die!
Oh, he's gonna try not to die.
Trust
But-
me, if I die, it's not because I'm purposely doing it. This game just legit hates me. There is so much I can talk about in the millions of ways that I've died in this game. It's great.
I believe it, I believe it. Lord of Hyphens gives $15 and says, hey, Titan Couch featuring Garrick. The VP series has always been one of my favorites. Hope we can see Covenant or VP1 in future marathons. I think Alicia % is more interesting than Zunde %. I hope someone's keeping track of Tri-Aces on the couch. Donating for good ending in Chrono Cross because our Dark Lord and Master the Demon Chocobo demands it.
Oh boy.
Thank you, sir.
Chaos gave $20 and said the best part about this game is how it really goes against the tide.
Oh, there it is.
Ah!
All right, just briefly, this bridge is kind of bad. If you land on it in the wrong place, it collapses. You can
Yeah.
just walk across it safely, or you can do good photon jumps like that.
There is a risky way, which is the way I did it, and there's a safe way where you just do swaps. So obviously that method I did is faster because you only do one swap instead of multiple. But I mean, sometimes the enemies can be positioned in really bad spots, and swap becomes better. Because if you jump and you land on like the fragile part of the bridge that Nitrodon was saying, it will break apart, and then you land into Divinity Void, and there's like 6 enemies in that room. It's really
I think
dangerous.
there's also a treasure chest down there if you land at a certain point.
I think you're supposed to go down there for the treasure chest, but there's no way like we're ever doing that in a speedrun.
Save.
Just like the risk involved is crazy. And yes, I know, Garrett, you don't need to tell me.
I'm just trying to
For,
help.
for this boss, like, I really have it primed in my mind. Just save. Especially since we're doing the really risky way. But the really risky way is actually faster. Arthur could explain that, because he was asking me about it. So he knows why this is faster.
Where do I begin?
Where do you begin? This is the rabbit hole this route is. It's so well constructed and so amazingly like
Difficult.
crazy at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much what he has to do here now, as he's going to revive his entire party and actually buff them up now, which you don't normally really do. He's going to actually have to use all 4 of his characters to hit their attacks in a specific order, and if he misses or mistimes any attack, he's dead. But it's faster.
It is faster. This is Evolver. This is the first, like, this is when the game decides it's done playing with
Yeah,
you.
this is pretty much the first hard boss.
This is I don't know how to really put it into words, but this game is like a really cool joke because it gives you the first 30 minutes, which you're like, oh yeah, this game's easy, I'm gonna learn it. Then you get to this part, you're like, what is this?
I don't know, casually Primordial Ooze is really hard.
Swap these. Also, these order of attacks is super important because I need to, in order to kill Evolver with a super weak team, I need to abuse some physics in the game, which is if you hit an enemy while he's on the ground, you get red orbs, and each red orb, if you're familiar with the first Valkyrie profile, they reduce your charge time counter. In this game, it recovers AP.
2 AP per hit when he's on the floor.
That is correct. So, did I save?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
Yes?
did you?
Okay.
Yes.
I need to save after the menu, because otherwise we're doing the menu all over again.
Alright, so
Good.
So, basically what has to happen is Dylan needs to perform, at least in the second phase, he needs to perform 5 absolute strike attacks, which you can only do by doing the on-the-ground combos, which you might be familiar if you play fighting game terminology. But first, we have to get through this first form. And this first form, if you think is any easier, it's not. It's still, like, ridiculously stupid hard.
This
if
boss...
if you're doing it this way.
yeah.
This boss has several abilities that can literally just kill you because it feels like using them.
Yeah, Flame Shower.
Yeah.
Flame Shower, counter-attacking.
Yep. Deciding to turn randomly, which he's done to me.
I mean, Shower only happens on the second phase unless you somehow break a lot of stuff in the first phase.
So he needs to break that arm because he needs that orb.
Yeah, it has a rune we'll need for, what, Solitary Struggle?
Yep.
Yes.
Also, I had to do 2 knockback attacks there. That's a really, really bad dash.
Ooh.
We're running away. Run away!
Flee?
Flee.
So
this is not ideal, because the other thing I had to do, by the way, is I had to direct assault this boss.
Yeah.
So we don't direct assault this boss, we're also done. We're resetting.
Yeah. This is the first boss that requires absolutely flawless execution in what you do.
Well, not absolutely.
Well, yeah, not absolutely. Depending on who's
Okay.
in your party.
Yeah.
If you have Zunde, that fight is much easier.
Yeah.
Zunde just eats this guy for breakfast, honestly.
Yeah, Sunday starts with Giant Killer skill,
Yeah.
which deals plus 50% damage to giant enemies such as Evolver.
Yeah, all the Chapter 3 bosses are actually giants. This is also why Zunde is so important, because he has like free 50% damage compared to every single other character you can get at this point in the game. And this is honestly probably the hardest fight in the entire game.
It's very similar to the ability Beast Bludgeon they were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
There's a set of critical skills in this game that allow you to do critical
Okay.
damage to
So
the
that
targets.
overdrive item we just used decreases AP cost by some small amount, like 20%.
20%.
But it's super important in this case, because otherwise this strat is not possible.
Well, I didn't say it was insignificant. It is kind of small, though.
The strat, by the way, user Richard, if you're watching, I expect a big donation if I get this first try.
He's trying to get Evolver to position the way he wants it to before he goes in on him.
I assume that equipment swap was for the number of attacks.
Yep.
And he might push in Dylan, which increases Dylan's damage. You can see Dylan's hitting very hard.
All right, now we
No.
see Soul Crushes.
Now is the time.
You only have 3 of them.
Let's watch this for prosperity, because we're only doing this once.
And you can see that the Soul Crushes in this game are not nearly as good as they are in VP.
Look at that amazing 15 damage, boys!
Yeah.
It's great. So the important thing about why you have to do all this is because you're building up the damage for the last Soul Crush you're doing. So each hit on the counter increases your Soul Crush damage by 1% of the next hit,
You're getting on my
which
nerves.
makes the Soul Crush from Dylan possible to kill this guy. Get it?
It's going to be close. It's going to be very close.
Oh yes! Richard, I expect you to donate at this point, because I'm never doing that again. I can't believe I got that live. That was amazing.
An absolutely...
So yeah,
Great
if I
quality
missed a
fight.
hit at any point in that combo, I probably would have died.
All right, I should explain what a Soul Crush is.
You probably should. We're never, because I'm never doing that again.
So when you hit an enemy, that combo counter whatever goes up by a certain amount. You can see what that amount is if you look at the attack's information. And it also decreases if you don't hit him for a while, and it completely goes to 0 if the attack round ends. But if it gets up to 100, then at the end of the whole attack sequence, you can do what's called a Soul Crush. And well, if you have a weapon that allows you to do a Soul Crush, that is.
Excuse me.
And it's basically a special attack, which is not as powerful as it was in VP1.
Yeah, Soul Crushers are very different in this game, because in the first Valkyrie profile, like, the uniqueness from every character was like how strong their Soul Crushers was. Like, Laufer had like an insane multiplier. Arngrim had like a Soul Crush that could give you plus 70 energy, which is very unique. In this game, all the Soul Crushers are very, very similar because their multipliers are all 4.7. The main difference between characters and their Soul Crushers is how many hits they do. So
And how much
how much energy they rebuild, yeah.
It's called
So
energy?
yeah. So well, I think it's called heat in this game.
Yeah,
but
Alright.
it's the same thing. But basically, like, that's the main difference. I think Rufus is the only one normally that has a Soul Crush that builds like 60 plus energy. But the important thing is that, like, the Soul Crushes in this game are just not that strong. But in this route, you do use it because Alicia's a wuss. That's
Yeah.
the main reason.
Your primary damage dealers in this game versus Valkyrie Profile 1 are your heavy warriors. They're the hardest hitting enemies or characters in the game. And your light warriors kind of have a different role. They're there to build heat. They're there to get you combos so you can do some different things in combat.
yeah, and do stuff like give you shining gems,
Yeah.
launch
Yeah.
enemies so you can make get those gold-ish gems, I think they are.
Yeah. The gold gems, by the way, are really important because
Yeah.
they restore 8 AP, but you get them from knocking an enemy down while they're in the air. So what Nitrodon is saying is, like, light warriors have several attacks that can launch characters into the air.
Yeah, every character type in this game kind of has a different utility associated with them.
Yeah.
Except for heavy warriors, who are there just to hit stuff as hard as they
Heavy
possibly
warriors are there for damage, light warriors are there for combos, and then you have archers who are basically your magic offense, and mages are your support. That's kind of how the game works.
So this is what is the place called?
Crosses Forest Ruins.
Crosses Forest Ruins. And there are 3 dices in there, and you need to put a seal stone in all of them, because that's the way to open the door leading to the boss.
Yep.
So it's also kind of weird. If there is a lightning elemental little seal stone in a dice, then you can have lightning striking. And if there is an earth elemental seal stone, then you have then the water is poisonous.
Yeah. You need both to open the door. Also, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm not curing poison, it's because the route doesn't make you cure poison. It's actually slower to cure poison.
Yeah, you don't want to cure poison because of the black crystal.
Yeah. You want to remain poison, which means that we're going to be at 1 HP pretty much from this point in the game all the way until the end.
Yeah.
So if anything, like that's why if you make a mistake in this game, it's cripplingly punishing. Because you just die. Like, in other games, it's like, oh, you made a mistake. You could kind of recover if it's dangerous. This game, you make a mistake, you're done.
Because also, a lot of times, you're either solo or with one
you
other
need to get the other
character.
seal stone. Or what are you doing?
Oh, shoot. I forgot to do that. Thank you. I'm thinking far ahead in advance. I'm like, I have to set up the menu properly about doing the puzzle. Yeah, so what Nitrodon was saying, we have to open the door first. The door's not open right now.
And this one's Earth Elemental, so you... And the one on the far dice in the areas in the part of this area you don't go to is Lightning Elemental. So as soon as you put something in this dice, well, the Earth thing itself will make the water poisonous.
Yeah.
And the fact that the lightning thing is now connected to everything makes lightning strike.
So lightning comes more frequently now.
Well, it comes at all.
Well, yeah. I don't exactly know how the lightning mechanics work, but you're usually moving so fast that, like, it won't catch you.
And the camera just zoomed in to tell you that the water is poisonous.
Yeah, but we don't care because we're already poisoned.
Yeah, we're not super concerned about status effects. Some of them we are, but the poison
Well, yeah, we're not concerned about that. And we're not concerned about the lightning either. The lightning rod, he knocked over earlier. You're not in the room long enough for that to matter. And this room has a lightning rod, and you're not on top of it when the lightning hits. So.
Aether, do you want to talk about the strategy for Hydra?
Oh boy, Hydra.
Yeah.
Always fun. Hopefully he doesn't give you a line attack. But now he will.
Yeah, now he will because he said it. Thanks.
So he's going to go in solo with Dylan here. In other routes, you usually go in with the solo heavy warrior of your choice, and here we pretty much have to choose Dylan. Pretty much what he wants to do is to pretty much you want that direct assault, don't you?
Yeah,
for
you want the
Hydra.
direct assault for the fairy tincture, but we have the apothecaries in case we don't get
Yeah.
direct assault.
The thing about this boss is that he wants to get close enough to the boss so that he can actually position himself so he doesn't get counterattacked by Hydra here. Oh, he didn't. Always lucky.
Always lucky, he says.
Yeah, he can't like dash toward him immediately. He has to actually approach him first. You may have to do your dash, yeah.
Oh, that's not too far in the front.
Items take a fixed amount of AP that you have to use.
Yeah, items take 15 AP.
Yeah, there's a blind spot for this boss until he loses about half his HP.
Yeah, and right, I guess the first time we really need to worry about. Okay, we kind of need to worry about parts for Valkyrie. But enemies have various parts, like body, each head, tail for this guy. And each part has a different amount of HP.
Nice.
So and if you kill, and some parts of the enemy are considered vital. So if you destroy the body, then the Hydra kind of dies.
Yeah, like some enemies, if you decapitate their heads, they will die instantly. So in that particular case, that boss actually has a lot of HP, but its body part only has 7,500. So when you use a flare crystal, the damage concentrates itself onto the body, which is how we got that kill so much faster. This is also why you want that direct assault on Evolver, by the way, because if you don't direct assault Evolver, you will only have one flare crystal, and you have to do like alternative strategies, which are slower. This is why like you have to learn, like if you want to get good at this game, you have to learn like all the crazy risky stuff.
Yeah, and you notice that he didn't just mash square there with Dylan. He hit, let it reset, hit, let it reset, so you can manipulate his AP through the fight.
Yeah.
This cave isn't interesting enough. You can get more donations.
Okay, great. We have a $30 donation from Bug. They say, happy RPGs from Salt Lake. Bug says meep. Which is pretty good. That's a pretty good thing to say. So, as a reminder, right now, there are some prizes that are being given away still from Child of Light. The Aurora artwork, the young Aurora artwork, as well as the Child of Light Steam key, not a stream key, a Steam key, okay? Also, we have a lot of bids that are coming up fairly soon for Suikoden 2, and I'm sure you want to go ahead and get your choice in there. Name the castle, especially, is going to be pretty fun. I like castles. Name a castle, please. So thank you everybody who has already donated. Thank you everybody for watching. If you can donate, great. If you can't, that's okay. Spread the love, spread the message of NAMI, that we all support the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Remember that you can do your own part by showing acceptance to others, and if you have mental illness yourself, go and be sure that you can go find someone to support you.
So here we're in the Palace of the Venerated Dragon. If you played Valkyrie Profile 1, you might recognize it, and the music.
Yeah. One thing about Tri-Ace games in particular, you know, if you've played any of the Star Oceans or the Valkyrie Profile games, the music is pretty solid throughout, and it's reused in some game. Most of their games they reuse some of it. This is one of those times.
Yeah, I mean, this dungeon is a throwback to VP1. The gimmick is exactly the same as it was in VP1. And I think the music is this the music that plays after you clear the dungeon and got the artifacts and stuff?
It's, yeah, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure.
It'll appear several more times throughout the game. Yeah. So the gimmick of this dungeon, for those of you that haven't played the first Valkyrie Profile or forgot about it, is that there are these statues scattered around several rooms, and we pick up all these weird stones that are like Halo Stone and like Sunstone. You have to use these stones to travel to different areas. I think all the areas are actually interconnected, but using those stones allows you to travel to like different rooms, and you can get to areas quicker.
Well, I think the stones are the only way to get to different rooms.
It might be. I haven't done this normal in a long time.
Well,
so.
and this is the only way to get to this trap room.
Yeah. I was about to say, what happens if you do something like that you're not supposed to? Well, they send you to the poison room. Remember how like I wasn't curing poison? This is also part of the reason why, because it's faster to travel through the poison room to get to some of these places than backtracking. So there's no point in really curing poison until you reach the end of this particular dungeon, and even then it's still slower, because it's actually faster, as we talked about, to remain poison, because you get the extra stats off the black crystal. But even if you don't have the black crystal, it's still faster. So you actually want to be poisoned throughout most of this run. And it's kind of weird because it's like, okay, so is there any point in the game where it's safe? Well, the first 30 minutes, and then afterwards, well, you get to deal with all the other stuff the game throws at you.
Alright, and here he's putting Stone Hurler Wrath, because you need to put one of 3 steel stones in that dice in order to open a door.
Yeah, there's a door we walked past earlier that...
Either Stone Hurler Wrath, Wrath of Forcefulness, or I don't remember.
Yeah,
they're all around. They're all in this area.
It's a life drain one that you have to go way out of your way to get. And doesn't open the door anyway.
Speaking of the not life drain, Wrath of Forcefulness.
So this is a pretty important seal stone to get.
Yeah,
It's really cheap.
It's really cheap because they thought that no one would ever possibly find a way to exploit this ability.
Uh-oh.
It's all right.
Oh, the Tome of Godspeed drop from earlier.
Well,
I
this
would
is-
much rather have saved that, but that was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have jumped.
That's a mulligan right there.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
One mulligan.
everybody gets one, right?
Yeah, so Wrath of Forcefulness triples your damage, but in return you have a 20% chance of breaking your weapon each time you hit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the one thing that they didn't expect you to do was to just not equip a weapon
Yeah.
and punch people to death, which
What?
is exactly what he's gonna do.
Well, your animation still has a weapon.
That's true. It does. Yeah. So he's gonna do
So
this.
they
in
definitely didn't expect that.
Yeah. So he's setting up to get a certain amount of attack and everything, and of course he's still got the Black Crystal on. He's going to use Unholy Purifier, which is another one of those critical skills, which is going to give him even more damage against these enemies.
Actually, I'm setting that menu in advance. 'cause
Oh,
I don't wanna-
that'll be later.
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
wanna
that's
do
right,
it
for the
I think
dragon.
later.
these are just giant and that's it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for the Bone Dragon later. My bad.
This is
So-
why Sunday is really good in the first 3 chapters. Like every single bad encounter, it's like, oh, giant killer.
Yeah.
That solves that problem.
And you have to fight. You have to fight 3 of these, 3 sets of these enemies.
Two.
We have to
2
fight
sets.
2, but
Yeah.
these are actually really dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially the first one. It doesn't look like it, but it's like, oh god, I think we're dead.
No, you're good.
Oh, you got lucky.
This
He
guy
ta-
ninjas you,
Yeah, he only turned like a little bit. It looked like.
Yeah,
but I lose my positioning bonus, which is good.
Yeah.
enemies can turn if another enemy is attacking or you're attacking another enemy.
Well, let's hope we don't die, because I think we're committed now.
No escape.
No escape. We'll make it.
It should be good.
I have to get the might potion
Oh,
out.
bloody patch. There you
Whoa.
go.
There you go.
Okay, the
Oh,
bloody patch
was
is
on this game.
it's used in some routes, but it's not really useful in this route.
Yeah, it's not that useful, but it will make the last fight faster, the very final fight.
It's a super broken item, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So what the bloody patch does is it takes 5% of your current HP.
max.
Max HP? Okay. Takes 5% of your max HP, but you deal 50% more damage on every hit. The key word here is hit, and that's why it's not good for Alicia. Because Alicia is a light warrior, so we mentioned the roles of the characters earlier. So Alicia focuses on doing a lot of hits. So 5% every single time, you do a move that hits 3 times, that's 15% of your HP.
Also, unlike certain other item we'll get to later, that the bloody patch does not have an effect if you don't don't have that 5% HP.
Yeah, if you don't have HP and you can't pay for the cost, it does nothing.
It doesn't damage you and it doesn't increase your attack.
Yeah, which is unfortunately not very useful with another item we're going to get here in a little while.
Well, it is. You
Well,
just
yeah,
have to actually heal over and over.
Yeah.
To use
Yeah, you have to menu a lot more because you're constantly healing.
Mhm.
So it's actually in the fastest, like the world record run, you don't bother picking up the bloody patch because it's just like it's slower. You just run on the Dragon Rib, which speaking of which, somebody can talk about the Dragon Rib while I cry salty tears over
Alright,
it.
so
because-
Dragon Rib is an item that's dropped by the neck of the boss we're going to fight in a few minutes. And it has a base plus 10% attack, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also gives you more attack as your HP goes down to a maximum of what, plus 50% at when you're at 20% HP.
Yeah, it's when you're in critical you get the bonus.
Well, you get the bonus always, but it's
Too low.
well, I don't think you get any bonus at max HP, but
This is very hard, by the way, in case anyone's curious.
And you.
you do want this item. It's a power bang. It'll give you plus 30% attack.
yeah, you kind of need it, right?
It's a very,
Very important.
No.
What?
Oh! Oh!
That has never happened before.
You may have noticed, like throughout the run, you may have noticed the some of the chests are booby trapped like this one, and you can actually avoid the booby traps like when they're like spraying mist into the air
Yeah.
by simply just crouching. And he just attacks, or rather mashes his confirm button, because you'll be able to just mash through it
You have to
and pick up the
fire.
item.
You have to fire that photon at like the earliest possible frame.
Yeah,
it's actually a really hard jump. Like I practiced on hours for it.
Yeah, and
right.
that's not actually the intended way to get that power bangle. None of us remember what the intended solution is.
Yeah, I actually did it the way that he did it in my own casual playthrough.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not putting up with that guy. Screw him.
Yeah, Tome of Alchemy will instantly kill that enemy.
Yeah, it casts instant death on enemy, and any enemy who's susceptible will instantly die. So that enemy is acceptable.
And it turns into crystals also.
Yeah, the only thing is you don't get any skill learning percentages when you use the Tome of Alchemy. So
well, if you use it on the leader.
We had to get the skill on Holy Purify learned much earlier because of this. Because otherwise, if you get here and you use the Tome of Alchemy, you won't get the skill learning points, and then you won't have an Holy Purifier for this fight, and then it becomes impossible. Am I gonna do it the risky way? Yeah, sure. Let's do it the risky
Swag
way.
for the fans, dude.
Do it the risky way, because I'm insane. But this all doesn't matter. If I don't get the Dragon Rib, in a normal RTA, if you don't get a Dragon Rib off this fight, like, the game's over. You can't get the game.
Because it's like 3 minutes lost, right?
It's 3 minutes like every single try, but it's like all the bosses in past this chapter, like you can't kill them.
Yeah.
You just have too much HP.
Yeah,
You can't even reload to try to get it really because it's so much time lost.
well, you wouldn't even need to reload. You can just refight.
Yeah, you
As far
can.
as that goes.
There is actually a way, now that Nitrodon mentioned it, to refight it, but it requires you to get the Bloody Patch. So Doc Gray actually developed a method where if you have the Bloody Patch, or you can actually heal yourself and fight the dragons on people.
Yeah, that's true, because the strategy uses a might potion. You can't buy any of those yet.
Yeah, they're very, very good items because they increase your power by 50%. We actually used them on Evolver to kill him. So we have to break these seals first because these lower the boss's defense.
Yeah, otherwise he takes like no damage.
Yeah, he takes very little.
I mean, you can make a good run of it with two crystals dead. And, I mean, I've seen some rounds do that.
So he healed there for safety because this boss can do a great magic attack.
Also attack there to reset his pattern.
Yeah,
So-
whenever you attack anyone, all the enemies change which attack they're using.
What?
And there's the great magic.
What? Okay. Okay.
I mean,
so we're
you
still
would've
alive.
lived, yeah.
We're still alive. That's what the healing is
It is
for.
for,
It
yeah.
allows you to tank one attack. Exactly.
And no frailty. Good stuff.
Now, Frailty is a different attack.
Oh,
Dragon Rib!
Alright.
Delicious.
Excellent.
Well, that's
So-
pretty good. So.
Always lucky, dude.
That was crazy. I don't know why he used Great Magic there, but yeah, that's why you heal. It lets you tank exactly one attack. And you don't cure poison because when you're poisoned, you lose HP as you're constantly moving around. And as we mentioned earlier, the Dragon Rib only activates when you're in critical. So if you full healed yourself and you were not poisoned, then you have to find a way to get yourself to critical HP. Whereas if you had the Black Crystal, not Black Crystal, if you're poisoned, you just move around the field and it doesn't work for you. So it's
Goodbye, random third chest.
much faster. Yeah, we don't care about that chest.
Mhm.
We picked up the dragon armor, by the way, not because defense is useful, but because we needed to learn a skill. Because Nitrodon mentioned earlier with skills how if you form certain patterns with certain colors, you can learn different skills. So that dragon armor is a green body ruin, which you need in order to learn Solitary Struggle, which someone can explain why that's important very soon.
Oh, Solitary Struggle. It's, in my opinion, it's probably the most broken skill in the entire game, especially once you know the ins and outs of it. So it's for each dead ally on the field, like they actually have to be dead. Your attack raises by 20% each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
20
stats actually.
All
is
stats.
what
All
I
stats
mean.
raised by 20%. And, you know, remember we have stuff like Sword Blessing, we have the Dragon Rib now, and things, you know,
Yeah,
are multiplicative. So you
Yeah.
can imagine the amounts of damage that you can just dish out in one hit, which is why Heavy Warriors are so broken in this game.
Yeah, because they do all their damage in a single hit.
Mhm.
We also have stuff like the Bloody Patch, and in the normal run, you also have like more Seal Stones, and those are like damage multipliers as well. So
Well, the only real damage multipliers are like Sword Blessing, Wrath of Forcefulness. I think there's one with that gives you stuff at full HP.
There's one that it gives you 150% and it disallows healing.
Right, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Forgot that
There's a
one.
bunch of those, but basically in like
Desperate
a casual
Soldier Law,
playthrough,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, I believe so.
you can just stack all those together and like the damage shoots through the roof.
Yeah.
Like in this game, focusing on defense is like you're doing it wrong, son.
Yeah,
This game's not about defense.
It's about stacking offensive multipliers and dealing 70,000 per hit.
Yeah, 'cause-
70,000.
Yeah, you can deal millions.
Yeah, like 2 million damage.
Yeah, that too.
Like 26 million damage.
I think my Dylan, when I released all the Unherior and buffed up its stats, he ended up doing like 2.1 million.
Yeah.
That's Seraphic Gate. So
Somebody has a
Yeah.
YouTube video where they do 26 million damage in a hit. Like, that's how ridiculous the multipliers get. And that's also part of the reason why you can beat this game, despite the fact that you're so woefully under-equipped and woefully under-leveled. Because you just stack all the multipliers together, and then the game just breaks down.
So here you're supposed to go through the whatever that place was. I don't.
Salvikia George.
Yeah,
Gorge.
Salvikia Gorge. But the Casino Plains is faster, and that's why you got the map of the Westlands earlier.
Yeah. It's also safer, too.
Yeah.
That too. Because these enemies aren't gonna, even if you get a really bad ambush somehow, these enemies aren't gonna kill you at this level.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they hit you.
Yeah,
could.
because I'm at 1 HP, but if I healed myself,
he can heal
they...
himself and escape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why this game is kind of nuts with kind of what you want to do with it.
Pretty much from here on, he's going to be roughly around 1 HP or very low HP. Or
He's not doing the bloody patch. He's going to be 1 health.
oh, it'll be yeah, okay.
I'll be at 1 health for pretty much the entire game. This is also why, by the way, like this game is really hard. Like I mentioned earlier, and like other games, it's like, oh, I can recover from this. I can take a hit if I have to. This game, it's like, no, you don't get any of that. You get 1 life and that's it. And what a fitting analogy for Valkyrie Profile, a game that's all about like dying and soul resurrection.
Yeah.
And the whole point now is that Odin has the Dragon Orb now, so we're going back to try
We
to save
found the
Japan.
Dragon Orb, but Leone was actually Hrist in disguise.
Yeah.
And she was working for Odin to get the Dragon Orb.
Because she can't go against her fate, or she uses that as an
Yeah.
argument.
So I think we have time for 1 or 2 donations.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. LCC gives $20. And he says, yo, my boy Tide is wrecking this game. First try Evolver means donations. So he sent in a donation there. Kaio's Little Monster gave $10 and said, hi again, Kaio here. This donation goes for finally being able to put a face to Nitro's wonderful voice. Thanks for the continued help and support. Donation goes to Nitrodon's Choice.
Really?
What is my choice?
Oh, you got it, dude.
What? What is this? Oh my god. Ah, this is like the worst thing ever.
What is happening?
Did you
How
do that to just prove a point that you could freeze them?
No, I don't know how to recover from this because this has literally never happened before. Oh my.
All right.
I hate photons, by the way. Like, this is why this game, whenever I play, it gives me a heart attack.
All right. So I don't know what's available.
Well, I mean,
Maybe what are the Suikoden 2 name stuff?
Suikoden 2 names, since that's coming up really soon, I want to go ahead and say main character names right now after a quick refresh. Main character name is leading with Orin at $50, randomly generated name at $30, and Sausage at $10. Naming the army, D Choco is winning at 100, Meat Shield at 60, and then SRM and Egg at 10. And naming the castle, Rom Scout is winning at $40. Suiko SRC at 30, and In Cheese at 10.
I don't know. I'm not confident in my ability to make decisions, even in useless ones. What else can I donate for?
Well, there are a lot of names if you want to go for a name. Also, there is that, let's see, the honk while riding Buskaboo during second and Setsu 3.
Be careful.
Bare Knuckled Chaos with Final Fantasy any %. Fight Chaos with no weapons equipped. That's 20 out of 300.
That sounds cool. Let's do that.
Okay, bare knuckle chaos on Final Fantasy any %. Fist fighting, a kind of scary boss, just a tiny bit.
Yo, it's Ballistic Rhino.
Yeah, well, it's a beast form. It's a clone of Ballistic Rhino. We're fighting that for the Damascus War?
Yeah, you need a Queen Strengthening Rune. So we get, or I prefer to get it first place because you can, there's several ways, several enemies you can get it.
Yeah, I think there's one other enemy that drops a Queen Strengthening Rune.
Yeah,
in
there's
this dungeon.
There are lizards who break their tails, and then they can drop an Evergreen Scale, which is also a Queen Strengthening Rune. So one or the other is fine.
So you have to break these shields in order to get it. I don't think I've heard this part of the music recently.
No. I haven't heard this part of the music, and that's on my MP3 player. That is really bad luck. Because I got 3 tries there, and I missed all 3. It's like a 20% drop from the lizards, and like a 50% drop from the Ballistic Rhino palette swaps. So, not getting it in like a single, in any one of those fights is really bad luck.
Who's back?
I seek is perfect victory.
Perfect victory!
Okay, Lizard.
Shoutouts to Liam O'Brien for doing Lizard's voice.
I still feel like Lizard's voice from the first game is better.
Really?
Yes, really.
I don't know, dude.
Well, he's
God, this
supposed to be
Luckman.
a creeper, so.
Yeah, but he's also theatric.
But
He's very show-offy.
but a creeper nonetheless.
I don't know. I think this sounds creepy enough. Especially when he starts talking about Lenneth.
What?
Break
Alright.
mode, boys! Let's go!
So,
Still didn't get it. Amazing.
so break mode happens. Okay, I think it starts with at a negative 80% chance whenever you break a part.
It's some negative percentage chance. And then every single part you break increases the rate by 5%. And we might die, actually. And yes, this is required because Solitary Struggle is just way too good. So I can't skip this. Which is unfortunate because everything was going so well at this point.
Well, the game's got to take revenge for you on you somewhere.
Yeah, first try Evolver and first try Dragon Road.
The game just hates me. That's what I've come to the conclusion to.
Now you got a lizard too.
Okay.
That's not the right
That's
item.
not the right answer.
It's green,
It's green.
but it's not what we want.
And we haven't mentioned it yet. If you kill an enemy, you get 60 AP back. If an enemy does an action, you get 60 AP back. And this is going to be actually it's going to be relevant in the upcoming boss fights. The second part of that.
Yeah, it's actually going to be relevant the next boss fight once we get past this part. But
One
it's
day.
just it's just refusing to drop, which is not good. Game, please.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We're probably dead.
One
Well,
more?
He does have a short range attack.
He's like freaking
Oh.
out. He doesn't know what to do.
What?
Like,
We managed to escape.
he just decided he
Agreed, Alicia.
Yeah. The Rhino decided
I
he
wouldn't be
wanted to-
worried about
We
that.
did it. We managed to escape.
There's worse things coming up.
Be
Yeah,
careful.
lizards. At least you didn't get flies.
Yeah, flies is the worst because you can't get the drops off anything.
And I think they're considered like ghost enemies, aren't they?
Yeah, they only take magical damage or elemental damage. And they absorb fire, I think.
Well, I think magical and elemental damage are the same thing in this game.
Yeah, like they only take damage from like an elemental source instead of from like
Another-
physical attacks.
Another red herring, I guess. But it's green.
Yes,
there we
we
go.
did it.
Finally.
Alright.
Now we're getting out here.
Now you can leave.
But
Kill that
we're
guy.
gonna kill this guy because it's safer than trying to run away. As you can see,
Yeah.
Dylan is he
Yeah,
has much more damage now.
yeah, it is foolish to take risks without cause.
Yeah.
A shame for the foe.
Kind of slow, but whatever. I think I lost like 4 or 5 minutes from getting the Evergreen Scales there. But now that we have it, we can set up for the thing that we actually want.
Maybe you learn it from all, don't you?
Yeah. Well, you fight a battle because you need it for all.
Yeah.
But this is also why you needed that pyrotechnic ore back in Evolver, because if you don't have it, I don't know when the next time you get a green fire rune is. It's a while.
Be careful.
So why are we fighting another one?
Because I need
Oh,
to
right.
learn Solitary Struggle.
Oh yeah,
So
that's
get
right.
the
Now,
XP.
now we're gonna get the Damascus Sword first try. Just watch.
Most certainly. Yep.
Scream!
I believe Damascus Ore increases your damage at full health, if I remember right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is about the colored
Or when you're-
accessories, it's like, you know, more post game sort of thing, but they're pretty. They get outclassed by the colorless equipment pretty quickly.
Yeah. You use the color equipment to learn skills.
Yeah.
That's their main reason for existing. So
And-
This was
we
not
learn a solitary
perfect
struggle off
victory.
that.
Mhm.
And the reason why we learn it so quickly is because our party level average is so extremely low.
Yeah.
Yeah, if so you take 40 points to learn a skill, and you have your party. So it's equal to you gain. Well, if your party level average party level rounded down is less than the enemy leader's level, you get twice that difference in number of points. Otherwise, you get 1. So if the enemy is 20 levels above your party average rounded down, you get a skill in 1 battle. And the characters you leave dead for solitary struggle count.
Yeah. So as long as they're within the party. In fact, that's actually what we're going to be using dead characters for most of the time. Or characters in the party that are not our main character. They're just existing for solitary struggle feel.
Yeah. Like if you remove them from the party, you lose that bonus. They actually have to be in your party.
They
and
have to be
dead.
in your party and dead, yeah.
Well, they don't have to be dead. I mean, they have to be dead for solitary struggle, and if you want to just make sure they don't gain levels so you can keep your party level average low.
Yeah.
This is so promising, too.
I actually did that on Mithra because he starts out at level 1.
Okay, I've been experimenting with a new strategy here, but we'll see what happens because this fight's also really dangerous.
Yeah, this fight in casual playthrough I actually struggled with because I didn't know what I was doing.
Not done. Do you want to talk about some of All's attacks? Because it's going to be important.
He has a bow, and pretty much all of his attacks are straight ahead and can be pretty long range.
Yeah, I've been killed by him from like across the map,
Yeah.
trying to run
Yeah,
away to
that's
get-
his range.
Yeah, he's
So what Tide is doing is putting Rufus behind and then leaving Lazard behind here, but by moving Dylan and Alicia back to the red team, but Rufus is too far away to join them, so he's just standing there waiting for something useful to do.
Yeah. Well, the reason why, would you see very quickly see why we split them apart, actually.
Yep.
So, I hope that's not the same.
And just,
I think
just
it
use,
might be. It's
Defender
hard to
just to be
say.
sure.
yeah. At this point in the game, everybody else is bait,
Okay, that works.
Yeah, that works too.
and he'll move them into stuff intentionally so that you can get his AP back.
So here we're getting these gold gems for restoring 8 AP by Alicia just kind of trips Ol by using turnarounds. Is that what you said it was?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's bad. This spin speed is really fast.
So again, he's moving. He just sacrificed Rufus and Lazard, not just because solitary struggle, but to get his AP back and to stop Ul in his tracks. So just to distract him for a turn.
I actually have to modify the strat here because I don't have enough AP.
And to get 60 AP from it.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
And the direct assault.
Yep.
So I guess Alicia learns solitary struggle after that.
Yep.
Lay thy
So you
soul
get
to
much
rest.
more efficient strikes if you do the ground bouncing. And you leave Alicia alive because she needs the levels, actually, and she needs the skills, so you can't kill her. In the, if you're running with Zunde, like, you want Alicia to learn skills in that fight, but if she dies, it's no big deal. So, but in this case, if Alicia dies, it's a problem.
There are a couple of other battles later where he'll do a similar tactic with Lazard or whoever else is alive at the time to kind of be bait for the enemy to attack while
Yeah.
Alicia finishes them from behind.
Well, you're pretty much done with Alicia for the moment.
Yeah.
So-
Well, one of the main reasons why this becomes important is because for several of these fights, like right now, we just don't have enough power to really go through them. Like, it's very different in the Zunde route because Zunde just has like massive multipliers. He gets great swords, like you can use Bloody Patch if you have it. So like the route
Dreaded
is
Radius, Sweet Dive.
yeah, it's just easier. If you're in this particular route, it's a lot harder because you don't have some of those benefits. And Alicia's strongest multiplier is like 1.3.
Save.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do a menu first, because we have to put someone else in here.
Again, he brought somebody else in because, again, Solitary Struggle is great, but he needs bait.
Yeah.
And you don't want to use a Union Plume if you don't have to.
This fight, the mages is a big problem too, because
Yeah.
there's 2 targets. So what we're actually gonna do in the fight is I'm going to manipulate the bosses so that I'm actually in a corner, and this is important because one of the bosses, they can like turn around like instantaneously like all, so they can like ninja and like kill you. So we have to be in a very, very precise spot in order to dodge it.
And their range is weird, I found, because of their mages and not just like typical. It's not like Ul's range, but it's different.
Yeah. Another thing unrelated to the speedrun, but interesting fact, the Gaim, the one that starts closer to you, can be silenced.
Huh.
And the only other thing he has is a really weak short-range attack. So,
I'm actually not sure if this is gonna work. Because I think he moved. Okay, he's not using a spell on me. That's the important thing. Because if he like turns around, like I probably would be dead.
By the hammer of Thor!
yeah, and that's but you just used a very little known mechanic. If you get 100 heat and decline to use the Soul Crush, your AP goes up to 100.
Yeah, if you kill the target, normally you only get 60. But
or
if you get
Oh, you have to kill him, yeah.
yeah, if you get the chance to use a Soul Crush and you refuse, the game gives you a bonus 40 AP. So I do it in that case because I want the AP to full combo the other guy.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until this afternoon.
Yeah, I found that out when I was doing this route. Because you want to skip Soul Crushes if you can, because the animation takes time. But sometimes you need to do it because you just don't have enough damage in this route. So then, yeah, we eventually figured that out. So this is like a mini boss gauntlet because there's another boss that we have to do
Yep.
coming up very, very shortly.
And you will save before it. I think
Yeah.
I think there's a save point after this one, or
Yeah, there's a save point afterwards, but
no, yeah, there's a save point in this room and then there's a save point in the next room.
I'm not too concerned about this boss because I basically use baby strats in this fight. Like the true Takeshi way, which this strat was modified off of, is you're supposed to use 2 dashes and only 2 dashes. You're not supposed to use more. But the way I do it, because we grabbed that charge break all the way back in the Palace of the Venetrated Dragon, we can actually instantly restore our AP at half our max HP value. So what that ends up doing is because Chris doesn't have an attack that can hit behind her. So
At least
once,
not until she reaches
yeah,
half
and
HP.
it's single target. So once you get behind her, you're pretty much in the clear. But the problem is this arena really sucks, and there's going to be several more that are like this.
I found
you
this
do not
this
seek
boss
death,
also
then
very
hide
difficult
yourself.
casually.
Yeah.
Because Ongrim, who is absolutely awful in this game, is actually quite difficult in this battle.
Yeah, he swings his sword and he hits like the entire field. It's really weird.
Yeah, his arc that he had there, you saw it seems really wide, but his sword is actually much longer than that, and the game seems to take that into consideration.
So yeah, charge break is an item we'll see a lot more of. But
Charge breaks are ridiculous. Nitrodon can tell you why they're ridiculously broken, by the way.
yeah, so what it does is it it increases your AP all the way to 100, and the cost all of your characters lose half of their max, lose HP, take damage equal to half their max HP.
So you can quickly see why this doesn't matter when you're using Dragon Rip strats and at 1 HP, because it can't kill you. So
Yeah.
it's essentially a free action.
Yeah.
So they didn't the balance across this is their thought is, well, you're gonna have a full party, and we're gonna make the HP restoring items on a full party difficult. So there's a serious risk you have to consider.
Yeah,
But
there's
then,
pretty much no way to restore HP to your full party.
yeah, it's hard. Like there is, but like you have to farm it, and it's like post game only.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh well, why don't I just use a single character and then make that single character really good? They didn't really consider this.
And
So,
also, just to stay at 1 HP, you don't care if you get hit.
yeah, that's why. Like if you're sitting at home going, you know, you could heal yourself, and this game would be a lot easier. Yeah, you could, but then you would be slow.
Yeah. On
Right?
top of that, healing is awkward in battle because it uses the 15 AP like everything else.
Yep.
And your
That's correct.
positioning can get messed up. I've healed with items casually, and even when I was doing my speedrun of this game, and don't laugh, it was there. I did it. We were there together. And the enemy will move and like hit you right after you heal. So it's like completely pointless. It's just really awkward.
Well, the big thing is we were talking about, like Nitrodon and I were saying, like when you perform actions like in the menu in this game, or even just any attack action, it changes the behavioral of the boss AI. So you really have to know kind of what the boss can do before you use an item.
Yeah.
Because if you use an item when you're still technically within their range, they just haven't selected that attack, they can change attacks and kill you that way. So you have to be very, very careful.
I think the only what you call it, the only time it's actually safe to use an item is like at the very beginning of battle. That's why you generally see in the speedrun that you use like might potions,
Or when
overdrives at the beginning.
Or when the enemy just acted and can't act for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a recharge time on every action in this game as well.
I think we have time for 1 donation, maybe 2.
Perfect. Well, we have a $30 donation from Anonymous. They say, nice work, everyone. Enjoying both the game and the commentary. Just as a reminder, this is RPG Limit Break. We are doing this to benefit the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Mental health and substance use disorders caused more hospitalizations among U.S. troops in 2009 than any other cause. There are many, many reasons why we want to support this charity, as well as mental health awareness. So please donate. Please keep the donations coming in. Be sure to share the message. Be sure to share this with other people as well, so that we can keep helping out Nami.
Alright, so now that we've beaten Frist, and we might be in a new chapter. Are we in the new chapter yet?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Chapter 5.
Yeah, we're in chapter 5, so we can buy might potions and charge breaks.
Which
Most
are-
important thing we're picking up is the map, though.
Yeah, the
'Cause
maps
we
are
don't
pretty
want to be traveling more than we have to.
Right.
So yeah, as Nitrodon said, they become viable, so we're going to stock up on them because they're great items. Instead of the Edu Zappos are safe.
So much money now. And you don't really need to buy healing items, just literally union coins.
just to make sure people can be revived.
Yeah.
Healing items again in battle are just in a speedrun are not useful.
No bueno.
So now we can travel freely between the 3 regions of the map.
Yeah, even though we didn't go through the gorge, we have the map, so it's like, okay, you can cross this area because you have the map. I'm gonna save here because I can die in the forest really easily.
Oh boy, the
there,
forest.
there is 1 or 2 jumps where it's like pixel perfect.
And you don't have any more Tomes of Godspeed.
I got 1 from Pris, but you
Yeah.
really don't want to use the Tome of Godspeed unless you have to, because those are your mulligans, as you put it. So if you use them too early, you don't get any more mulligans. You actually have to make your way to the escape zone. And as you saw in when we were farming for the particular part to learn Solitary Struggle, escaping is not perfect in this game. You don't have flee like you do in FF9. It's like, oh, you got into an encounter and you failed to run away like 2 or 3 times. You're probably dead. So...
And you notice that we no longer have Dylan, because the question might be, why don't we just keep using Dylan? Well, Dylan wasn't actually Dylan, so...
Well, I think he was, but he's kind of combined with Brahms in some way. I'm not sure exactly how it works.
I believe the story was that in Silmeria, in order to protect Brahms because he was really injured after a fight with Odin, she hid him within the Einherjar, Dylan. So Brahms had to like pretty much emerge, and Dylan can't really exist after literally being ripped out of.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff happened. Big cutscene just after beating Hrist.
Yeah.
The 3 mages, those 2 we fought, plus someone named Dallas, whom we would have heard about. Ah, crap.
Long story short, essentially what happens is we find out Dylan's Brahms.
Was housing Brahms.
Was housing Brahms.
Yeah, and Brahms kind of sacrifices himself to save Silmeria after the mages try to use the Sovereign's Right.
Yes.
Sovereign's
Right.
Sovereign's Right.
To
extract Silmeria from
Alicia.
Yeah.
And
because it's an
so
ability.
Brahms is in a crystal now.
Yeah.
When if you remember from VP1, it's Silmeria that was in the crystal.
Yeah, in Brahms' castle. There's a reason it's different that will become clear. Well,
It won't become clear because we're
doesn't come
skipping
clear,
it.
Yeah.
That's true.
But we get a boss fight
Lizard
now. We get a boss fight now.
Yeah,
Are you ready for more of this exciting blood-pumping adrenaline where like life and death is literally in the course of one action?
Yeah, the whole game from Evolver on, it may seem like everything's going really well and everything is going well, but at the same time, every single one of these enemies, if they get one attack off, it's over. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah, and Arcturus likes getting attacks off.
Yeah, he has a really fast spin speed. That's the main thing I'm worried about.
And he just used an item called an expert experience, which is it 300,000 experience?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gives her 300,000 experience to get an extra level on Alicia.
I'm putting that extra level, by the way, because this fight is also a vitals parts kill. So if Alicia doesn't have enough strength, or you get bad rolls, it's very, very problematic. We do have the Black Crystal, so I should be safe, but the goal of this fight is we're going to destroy 4 crystals, then we're going to get everybody else killed but Alicia, and then we go all in. And there's several things that can go wrong. If the characters don't all die, I have to do backup strats. Or if Alicia ends up in a position where she doesn't have the AP, because you need 84 AP to do the 1 rounding. If I don't have 84 AP, I have to do backup
And
strats.
Angel Rain is gradual damage that can't kill, and Frailty, which we're not healing anyway, and all it does is prevent healing.
We don't heal Frailty in battle, but we do have to heal it before Heimdall. The strat for Heimdall also requires you to heal unless you want to be perfect with your timing.
Okay. And that's why you got the Idun's apple way back.
That's why you have to eat Idun's apple.
And he's going to go ahead and walk his party into death here for the extra damage and to refill his AP. And you can see just the massive amounts Alicia does all of a sudden.
We did it. We didn't die.
Really good fight.
Yeah, that was an ideal fight. So if, again, targeting zones in this game are very, very deceptive. There's a chance that if he's using a spell, 1 or 2 of your characters will be alive, and that you can't 1-round him because you need all the power off Solitary Struggle in order to do that 1-rounding. So if that happens, well, you're pretty much
Alright, so
stuck.
We've killed Arcturus. We want to go past them to the Bifrost to go to Asgard.
Yep.
But there's a problem. We can't do that because Alicia can't pass through there.
Yeah, the thing with the Bifrost Gate is that if you're a mortal, or sorry, you're human, you can't cross through the gate. You must be not human in order to cross through the gate. So Rufus can pass through it because he's like a half-elf.
Half-elf, yeah.
Spoilers. But Alicia can't because she's human.
Yeah, because in the whole thing that happened, the cutscene we skipped earlier where we lose Dylan, they split Silmeria from Alicia,
Yeah.
which was the whole process of that. The king wanted to remove Silmeria from Alicia so he could have his daughter back.
Oh, right, yeah. We don't even have Silmeria anymore, but Alicia still has those powers.
Yeah, don't ask.
Yeah,
But-
it's some weird fendangling they do with the story there that allows her to keep some of the powers and lose the other
Okay.
ones.
But if you try to materialize any Untitled artifacts, you can't do it because you don't have Silmeria. Don't ask me how this works because
But you can do it. You can use Ontario you already have.
yeah, it's literally the game kind of making up its own rules at this point. So the plot, in case it wasn't clear, kind of goes downhill after Chapter 4.
Okay, so in order to do this, we need to get some ghoul powder from the Japan Castle where we fought Primordial Ooze. And there are no shortcuts, so this would be a great time if you happen to have a boatload of donations waiting.
We have a couple of them. $20 from Ice Plug, who says, "Hey there, since we don't get to have Zunde in the run, please put this towards having Zunde somewhere else in the marathon. Zunde's Justice Sword." Very nice. Thank you very much, Ice Plug. Now, as you should know, there are still opportunities to win the Aurora artwork, the Young Aurora artwork in the Child of Light Steam Key. Also, the grand prize of this marathon is a PlayStation 4. If you donate $30 any time during the marathon, you can even just donate $5 here, $5 there. As long as you have donated at least $30 throughout the course of the marathon, you are eligible for that specific prize for PlayStation 4. So go ahead, keep your donations coming in, cross your fingers.
Oh boy. Triace games have a tendency to include quite a bunch of backtracking. Seems to be a recurring thing in their video games.
Yeah, unfortunately they use a lot of padding. They really focus on the game's look and feel and like all the things that go into like making a game graphically good, because this is one of the best, if not the best.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic look. You can go back and play this game. This is a PlayStation 2 game. You can go back and play this game too and marvel at some of the way that the game looks. And it's very impressive. And they tend to just kind of have like these very small centralized games with good looks and good music and good other things, you know, other good things, I guess. So they do tend to reuse a lot of areas, and this game is no exception. Star Ocean 1 is also a very bad offender of doing that.
Yeah, this is literally backtracking to the end of this dungeon, picking up an item in a cutscene, and then backtracking all the way back to where you were.
Yeah. Somebody in this game loved that the pan on the ground because you passed through it so many times.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't have enough of this in your game. We're gonna make it such that you have to cross through this area several times in a row.
And there's no bosses, there's no new enemies even if you fight random encounters. There's
Just go through it the same way you did.
like,
But you know what is different? The enemy placements. So your photon swaps are all different now, even though it's the exact same area. Because, you know what? This game's not complicated enough.
Are these the same enemies as in Chapter 1?
I think they're different, but don't
Yeah.
quote me on that
I-
because
I think
I haven't fought a
they're-
single enemy in this area in ages.
I
but
believe they're basically pilot swaps as far as I know.
the important thing, though, is that the positions are different. So photon swapping is not the same.
So this place changes for Chapter 4, even though you don't really go there in Chapter 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Triace games have great logic, by the way. Like, I don't even know where to go, but I think the best thing to say is like the hitboxes in all Triace games just amaze me because they make no sense whatsoever. I mean, yeah, Triace is not like a maker of, say, games that would be critical to have good hitboxes, like, Street Fighter. But at the same time, you have these mechanics where it's like you have to hit a specific part of the enemy to get a drop. There's no targeting system. So you're thinking, well, I think my attack can hit. Then you swing and you're like, oh, it didn't. Well, crap, what do I do now? Or in the case of the enemies, oh, I think I'm out of the enemy's targeting range. But you're actually not. We'll see that with Odin once we fight him, because
Oh,
he has
boy.
some of the worst hitboxes.
And
in
he
the
cheats.
game.
Yeah, he
Ooh,
cheats
the-
like crazy.
Yeah, I'd say like after this point, the enemies start to cheat a little bit. Like Odin's a pretty big offender.
Yeah, the Great
Uh,
Buster, or whatever the Odin's version is called, its attack range is just insane.
Yeah. You can see the red too, and it's like that's not even accurate. It actually extends past that.
My favorite is the one where he does like a line, like fireball attack or something, and he teleports.
Yeah.
But like you can move one character into that targeting area, and he will dash behind another character that's like halfway across the map.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why did that happen? I purposely don't want you to target the other character, but it's like
Yeah.
he knows. He's the All-Father, all-seeing.
Yeah,
He's
I
all
don't know the
cheater is what he is.
I don't know the names of Odin. I know the names of the version of them in Seraphic Gate. but-
Yeah, I don't know them either. I just know how they look like. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I know this attack's a problem, so I want to avoid getting hit by it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
much
that
as I
attack
can.
and the attack that does some light beam with 4 hits.
Oh yeah,
that's
that
a good
attack that
one.
Nitrodon's talking about, by the way, has a hitbox behind him. It's great. Like, I didn't figure this out until, like, recently, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I finally understand why I'm dying to this attack now.
It's very similar to the way that we were talking about Ongram when you fight Ongram in Hrist. Is Ongram's sword is really his hit area. As long as that sword is where he's going to hit. There was an example in practice where Tide was practicing that fight, and he dashed behind Ongram with Dylan, and Dylan was completely behind Ongram and not even anywhere near him, and he didn't get through with another character he's using, and Ongram swung to hit the character in front of him and just destroyed Dylan too for no reason.
Yeah, it's great. The hitboxes in Trius games are the most nonsensical thing.
Yeah.
Retreat!
Also, you might have been curious what this was when I brought it onto the the beginning of the stream and just held on to it. These are actually Tide's notes.
Yeah, which literally tell you how to do everything.
Yeah, they're
which
very
is-
thorough.
They're very thorough.
And you just like
Except where to go.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't tell you where to go because I assume you know
know where
about
to go.
that.
It
doesn't.
literally says on the front, these notes assume you know where to go.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this is like, what is it,
41.
41 pages for just the supposedly sub 2-hour game.
Yeah.
If
and
you're
it-
wondering why it's so long, it's because I document all the methods that I've died and how to try to remedy that.
Yeah.
So you can imagine like how many times I've died in this game.
Like Tide wasn't kidding when he was lamenting about how that the game just creates new ways for him to die. I believe this is his game as to Dream Boom is to DQ8. Shoutouts to Dream Boom.
I see.
when you run a game enough, it will find ways to make your life miserable
Yeah.
because it just gets tired of you beating on it for so long.
Well, this game is different, like in the sense that it doesn't even matter how well you play in like the first hour, because if you don't get the Dragon Ribbon in RTA, you're done.
Yeah.
You can play like the best game ever in like the first, like TAS style in the first 1 hour.
Yes, dang.
But if you don't get the Dragon Rib, like
Use the
it's over.
TMA in this letter.
So it's like, and every single fight after this, if it looks easy, it isn't.
Yeah.
Every single fight after this, it's still like a roller coaster. Like you can still die to every single fight really, really easy.
It's really interesting because we've been talking about it through the whole run about how difficult this game is and everything, and it's been going very well. But
Knock on wood.
yeah, I know I'm trying to make it worse. But it doesn't mean that things aren't tense and haven't been. The Evolver fight alone was probably one of the toughest things so far in the marathon. Not to take anything away from anybody, but just the fact that if he missed one attack, he didn't. But if he had, it would have been, there would have been nothing he could do. It was just over.
Yeah, he could have also gotten really bad rolls.
Yeah, his damage rolls have been very good as well.
Yeah. If you're wondering about the Evolver fight, it's really bad.
And an ambush.
Trickery is death.
I don't have a Total God Speed anymore, so I
Nope.
actually have to make it to the exit zone. Check out that attack range.
Yep.
All right,
Valkyrie profile to everybody.
here it comes. Let's see.
Run.
Please.
Please get away.
Oh,
No,
we're dead.
We're dead.
Spitfire.
When did you save?
Just outside the
Just
forest.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can
Nice.
tally one death.
There's
What?
the first death.
First death after 144. That's not
Nice.
bad.
That's really good, yeah.
Except we get to do that again, and that jump is still like pixel perfect.
Yeah.
Jump
Yeah,
is
that's,
hard.
that's one of the worst.
I don't know if Rizard has been in the chat, but he can attest to how annoying that jump is.
Any enemy that has like a height to them, like the standing phantoms, and then those enemies right there, like the special enemies, those flowers. It may look easy to jump over, but they're actually pretty hard to jump over.
Yeah, just imagine like an actual square around them, and that's their actual hitbox.
Yeah, and you have to land past it, and you have to get over them. So it's actually really difficult. And those big enemies with the big squares, you can't freeze them with photons.
That's actually one of the big reasons why Darkrai actually fights them, because you still have the Lotus Slice in your inventory, so you can actually kill them. But fighting them is obviously slower, so...
Yeah, the enemies that don't look shadowy, you can't, are basically mini-boss type things, and, you know, the ones that look shadowy and blurry and the same 4 or 5 sprites you see throughout the game, you can freeze those. Stuff that looks, well, colorful, like that, you can't freeze.
At least it was.
Let us clean
At least it
first
wasn't an ambush.
Yeah.
Attack.
So that's a pretty bad
Top
start.
Keck!
You got one chance, buddy. Because that's a pretty long one.
Top Keck, 10 out of 10.
Retreat.
Nice.
Alright, we're out of there.
We didn't die again.
And then he has a small invincibility frame where he can, now he's just going to be able to get over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But those enemies, like I said, it may look easy because of what Tide's been doing. He's been doing really well with it. But if you try it, like the first Divinity Void I was talking about that he was in, there's a tall enemy, one of those tall phantoms that I call them. I can't jump over it. I've tried. I spent 15 minutes one day just practicing it before we tried our blind race, or semi-blind race, so I wouldn't get killed there. And sure enough, I missed it and died in the blind race because I couldn't do the jump. I just can't. Because Alicia's jump is kind of based on how hard you press the button.
Yeah, that tri-ace button sensitivity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you've ever played Star Ocean 3 where you had to deal with the Dragon Flute, you know that the tri-ace button sensitivity is...
Yeah.
They're not very good at programming it. Let's be real. Let's just say it how it is.
I'm not even going to say it's necessarily their fault. I think the technology just wasn't really up to the pace, but they thought it was a good idea. So
Yeah.
they're like, let's incorporate this. But, I mean, in casual run, you don't really care all that much, but when you do something technically precise like a speed run, it's holy hell, because...
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
the same
well-
thing with dashing. It has a pressure sensitivity. to how
Dashing
far
is
you
pressure
dash.
sensitive. It
Oh.
is pressure sensitive.
Listen to this music.
Yeah, one of my
So
favorite
good.
themes in the game.
So, the AC are trying to stop us from doing this.
And Alicia's not having any of their garbage right now.
Yeah.
She's not taking any of it.
Is everyone okay?
By the way, that was the slow way that I developed to maneuver through that fight safer. Because you can die in that fight. Rizard and my running joke is that that's the hardest fight in the game. Because you put your guard down, you're like, this fight's easy. And then you make a dash, and you run into the enemy, and then you die.
Alright,
So...
so now after that, we used the ghoul powder on Alicia, and Rufus gave her his ring, which is magical, kind of stasis type thing. That makes it so she doesn't actually proceed all the way to being undead.
yeah.
That's enough to get through that. But Rufus needs those same properties to stay alive. So
Yeah, he's basically the next. He's
a
supposed to be like
a replacement body for Odin if
yeah.
Odin's body
So
dies.
he's supposedly a lot older than he is.
That's also why he's a half up, by the way, if you're wondering.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Odin is a half elf.
At least in Valkyrie profile.
He's he essentially creates the half-elves so that way if he dies, he can use the Sovereign Right, or is he defeated in combat, he can use the Sovereign Right to switch to another body, which is where he gets most of his power from. What makes him so powerful is that he's essentially indestructible, and that's what Brahms. That's why he's able to defeat Brahms. He's actually physically stronger than he is.
Yeah, so, but what we want to do is, well, we're basically I think the plan is to overthrow Odin and put Rufus in his place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because at this point, they're like, well, what else do we do?
Yeah.
So they're like, let's put Rufus at the throne because he can inherit the same stuff that Odin can because he's a half-elf.
And that's how Odin became as powerful as he did. If you've played Valkyrie Profile 1, Lazard actually literally explains the whole process.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for those of you that missed it, because he's a half-elf, so he's not limited by the fact that he can't age. So his body will grow, and then he can withhold onto this point when he's in the prime of his life. And because he's half health, he can continue growing and learning. That's why he's the almighty All-Father.
Yeah, whereas the other gods just they just exist.
Yeah, they're static, pretty much.
Anyways, now we're out of this bridge. So, shoutouts to LCC, because he's a cool guy. This is his favorite area of the game. It's also super pretty. We come out of this area, and there's actually a recovery point right beside you, because the game's like, well, it's probably a pretty hard area, so you're probably fighting random, so here you go. But we actually do not want to use that recovery point under any circumstances. You do not use it. Because you get rid of all your low HP, all your bonuses from being poisoned and everything else. So it's actually really bad if you end up using that, because there's no random battles in this area. What the hell? Oh, I'm poisoned. And yeah, if you're poisoned, by the way, if you're status, you can't release a Harrier.
Yeah, so he gave Din a better weapon to give him a much more attack power, so he gets more Fencer's familiarity, just give her more strength.
Yeah, because Alicia's
like
weakling.
we talked about earlier, you get more items based on the equipment that the Einherjar is equipped with when you release them. So if you really want to get like max Einherjar, you want to give them end game weapons
Or post game weapons like Tierfing.
But that's a long time to wait.
Yeah.
And you do lose whatever they're equipped with. So you want to make judgments based on that if you were to play casually. This game is absolutely beautiful all the way through the game. The environments it pushes the PlayStation 2 as hard as I think anyone could have done.
Yeah, it's actually one of the, if I recall correctly what Rizard was saying, it's one of those games that consume like a lot more memory than it actually I think it needs to.
So bad.
And like it has its own like plugin if you want to emulate it for some reason.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh,
Nice fun. As you can see, Alicia is now on a whole nother level of power.
nice
I think you
self-imposed.
underestimated me.
Yes, they did underestimate her.
Yeah. Well, this is a gauntlet, so I hope I don't die anywhere. Because if you
Yeah.
die along this path, it's bad. You have to go all the way back at the start when we save, then walk all the way back here.
Yeah, that first battle is pretty easy.
Yeah. It's actually the boss I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heimdall is difficult. He turns very quickly, and he...
Yeah, Alicia's
And,
quotes
and
also
he has
changed.
shields.
Yeah.
There's a very precise dashes he's going to be doing here to kind of clip by that arm, I would say is the best way to go, because he kind of goes underneath it, but it's hard to do.
Oh, you missed the vital part.
So now he's building up his AP and trying to position correctly to go back in again.
No, I think he wants to,
Get a charge break.
yeah. Because trying to wait for your AP is going to take forever.
Yeah, he was trying to just get positioned so the enemy couldn't kill him.
90% chance times 2! Why?
What did you miss?
I missed the armor piercer, so we have no Magician Slayer now. So
Uh-oh.
this is
Yeah.
fun
So,
times.
Magician Slayer.
But if we die, we get a second chance at it.
Here's another Magician Slayer is another critical skill.
And a lot of the bosses at the end of the game are
Magician.
magician.
Yeah, magic. Use magic.
So missing out on that means that the fights are just going to take forever now.
Well, it's not even that. They also get a lot more dangerous because you
Yeah.
can't
'Cause-
safely kill them in like 2 rounds. So
Yeah.
they gotta do a lot more stuff, and it's a lot riskier the longer
So, like-
you drag it out.
Like Odin is magic, for instance.
Yep.
Freya is as well, I believe.
Freya isn't, but
Oh, she
yeah,
is.
Freya's just
the final boss is shit.
Yeah, the final boss and the previous form of that boss, who is still before the final save, is also still magic. We're not there yet, so I'm avoiding spoilers.
Yeah, so you see the shield, the blue numbers, that's hitting a shield that Heimdall is wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad spot he got
Yeah,
pushed to too.
Yeah.
And then you see they just catch up to you. Oof.
So risky.
Ice should be fine.
Should be good now.
So-
Never mind.
What is
Alright,
that
well-
attack? I forgot.
It's Infinity Stream or something. It only hits once, but
You know.
look at my
once.
HP. 1 HP.
Unfortunately,
Shadows
you
one
can't take
HP.
0 damage in this game. So he's doing now is he's trying to get his menu so he can try to reset Heimdall again by using another item.
That's what you said. It was only one hit, right?
As I hope it misses.
Yeah.
No, I mean you just use the foolproof talisman that nullifies one hit.
It qualifies one hit, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is just one hit. I guess technically you have a way around it now.
Good news is, the reason why you have to do all this, by the way, is because the Dragon Rib, even with the Dragon Rib, you can't one round this guy. So you have to heal yourself in case he uses the area of effect attack. And it's actually part of the strat. You have to use cross slash 3 times to push him out of your range. Because the true Takeshi way doesn't heal at all. You go in there with 1 HP. So if you don't push him back far enough and he does Infinity Stream, you just instantly die. Again, Takeshi's a crazy man. So we didn't die, that was my goal, but I don't have Magician Slayer, so all these fights are going to be a lot harder and a lot longer too.
And yeah, since we got out of the cave, Rufus is no longer in danger. Bifrost and Asgard and stuff are different.
Yep. So
Again,
that was part of the
fantastic.
plan, just go through the cave fast enough that Rufus doesn't die.
yeah, that's why there was that timer, by the way, but the easier way to remember how to get through that cave is to just go right a lot and you like enter through every door, the first door that you see. And that usually gets you out of the dungeon really quick.
Yeah, I did that too. At the time I didn't know you could get into battles and the timer would stop. So
Yeah.
I didn't get into any battles, I just kind of skipped everything.
So there's actually some like good seal stones and items in there, but
Yeah.
Well, you could always go back.
yeah,
So this is Yggdrasil, I think.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
So there are these, what are they called? Pillars?
Yeah, they're like magic crystal pillars, whatever.
Yeah, and they have various effects. Two of them attack you. One of them just creates wind to push upward. I think there might be a corresponding one that pushes downward. I don't remember. All right, well they just push in a direction rather. Some of them push horizontally. So we can't actually. There is something we need to get over here to deal with the pillars, because otherwise without either this or what was it Black Anchor Wrath or something.
I don't remember which seal stone you need, but you need this because it's part of the puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah, you need this. This lets your photons destroy the
Pillars, yeah.
Pillars.
Because otherwise, you can't navigate through this dungeon. Normally, if you actually have the Armor Piercer, you learn Magician Slayer out this battle. But I don't have it, so I'm not going to bother menuing, because that's a waste of time. So this is the system we're talking about.
Magical light blessing.
So now we can destroy pillars with our photons.
And that'll be absolutely necessary somewhere. I mean, it might be something you can avoid with Black Anchor Wrath, but we don't have that.
Yeah.
That's further out of the way than this is anyway.
Basically, this route is extremely optimized to the point that everything I've added makes it slower, but it's just like it's safety because I'm bad.
Nice.
Yeah, that pillar pushes you upwards, so you
Yeah.
can't fall down into that area.
So you absolutely need the seal stone there. That's also why you don't grab your sword blessing seal stone, by the way, because if you had it, you don't have any pouches, so you can't store an extra seal stone with you.
There are side quests you can do in the game to get more side seal stones, like Nitrodon said earlier, but
Yeah.
they're slow and out of the way.
And is the seal stone you just passed the one that's plus 50% attack and half defense?
Something like that, but it's like we don't have the space for it, and you have to carry it around, and we still need this thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Nice. Go fast enough.
And so I think you end up with like 4. You can carry 4 in like a casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one early in Chapter 3, one late Chapter 3, and the last one's early Chapter. You can get it as soon as you reach Chapter 4.
All right, we're almost at the top. Which means we get to fight Odin.
And the whole
Somebody can talk about why he's a jerk.
Well, he is Odin.
Other than the
kinda-
fact that his arena is really, really awful.
Well,
Yeah.
he's an arrogant jerk,
he is an arrogant jerk, to say the least.
and he's restoring magical light blessing not because we want it later, but because we want to get it out of our inventory so we
Yeah.
can get sword blessing.
Yeah, we don't have any extra pockets, so we need to restore it.
So he brought her back so she can be bait here in a second.
Well, you need someone, unless you're gonna kill him from half hit health in one combo, you need someone to be alive.
Yeah.
Because once he gets down to half health the first time, spoiler, you fight him twice immediately after one after the other, he uses his Soul Crush, which is going to kill someone.
Yeah. It hits it's a single target attack. And he switched to that Blessing, I can't remember, Blazing Wind or
Gale Wind.
Which is going to prevent him from knocking Odin down. Because if Odin gets knocked down, he tends to get up and just attack you.
Yeah.
Right, you can, what?
If you knock him down, there's a chance that Odin will cheat and he grows eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah.
So I've been experimenting with, well, what happens if we use this Gale Winds? Because Gale Winds doesn't knock down and it has the same multiplier.
So I'm just waiting to position him correctly so you can get behind him and start pounding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the arena makes cross slash really unideal. And the reason why I might potion there, you're not supposed to, but I might potion there because I don't have Magician Slayer. So you're supposed to do that without the might potion and just take him down to 50%. So our bait unit, well, survives, so we're not dead.
Yeah, that's the reason we have Cephalo, or whoever.
Yeah.
Whoever that was.
There's a way Takeshi avoids the counter by bringing the archer with him, but I find that doesn't work 100% consistently, whether it's due to any differences. So I just take like the entire party, just separate the party, because you don't really need the archer there.
So in that cutscene, Odin killed Rufus and Lazard stopped them from killing everyone else.
Yeah.
And you get a full and you get everyone in your party is revived now.
Oh my god.
And this is what we meant about attack range. This is what Spiritual Lancer? No.
Amazing, dude.
Literally.
Absolute rage.
Yeah, there we go.
So
Good
he
attack.
actually did what he was supposed to there. He can actually move around and target the other party. You've moved like through a wall. It's great.
Yeah. And now he can use his Soul Crush at half HP, but he doesn't always do it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
That's something we wanted to do, especially if we hadn't just used a charge break. Because, you know, 63
Pog
AP.
champ! We direct assaulted him, boys.
Well done.
Don't even give you anything.
Odin's a jerk, by the way.
Yeah, Odin is very strong.
That arena, like, really sucks. Like, it's so easy to get caught, and then you just, like, die because you can't maneuver around
Yeah.
the arena. Like, Rizard hates that arena. I hate that arena. I think
So-
Dockway hates that arena, too.
So then Lazard basically finished off Odin after the battle ended, and he took Gungnir, and he's all powerful.
Yeah, spoilers. Lazard is evil.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and
It's
is
the surprise of no one, dude. It's
yeah, and his surprise is significantly stronger than everyone else in this game at this point. In the
he
game.
was sandbagging when he's part of your party.
Yeah. I don't mean just your party, like even NPCs that are supposed to be gods. He's significantly more powerful than.
Well, I mean, he did have the Philosopher's Stone and all that, and he survived the end of VP1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Ragnarok.
then went back in time to do this stuff.
That's actually also why he can do that, by the way, because everybody at the end of VP1 was technically Lennox Art Hierarch because they got reincarnated. But
Except
because
Lazard.
Rizard didn't die, he's not in Lennox control, so he's
outside
off on
of
his
it.
merry way
Yeah.
doing his own thing.
Yeah, and he's obsessed with Lennis. That'll
Shoot.
be important later.
I forgot to set cross slash, so I have Gale Winds in this fight, which is not good because the hitboxes are garbage. So you'll see.
It's not too bad.
It's okay.
You say that now, but
No more
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, now that the tail's broken,
I played this game enough to know my mistakes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alicia. You are a real pal.
Sick of Swifts. NA.
Hey, you still got the direct assault though.
You were supposed to remind me, I
Is
think.
everyone okay?
and
I didn't. You changed your strat on me, dude.
and the ring kind of fell down here, and that's the only reason Alicia's down here to get the ring back. And
Yeah. Because
And she
Rufus
used
gets
the-
reincarnated,
yeah, she uses that to make Rufus her own Harrier, basically.
more or less.
More
Again,
or
plot of this game after, like, the third chapter kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, it very much becomes a big convoluted mess.
So now we go to Valhalla for some reason. I'm not actually sure why.
I don't remember either. You asked me to plot this game, I honestly don't remember. Because
The water mirror.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can describe the water mirror, actually, because people probably wonder what that is.
Yeah, the water mirror is a very important artifact for the Aesir. I forgot what it does exactly. I know you can.
If any of you
speak-
played
speak
Suikoden,
through it, yeah.
it does the same thing as Viki's teleport mirror.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
it can send you anywhere in the world.
Well, I think Lucian used it to just
Talk to
Yeah,
Lena,
he,
yeah.
he used it to talk to Lena.
When
But I
he
don't
wasn't
remember
supposed to.
why they need the water mirror. That's the thing. I think they were like, they want to chase after Lazard.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah. They
wanted
wanted to
water
go
mirror.
after, because he's in his own
Yeah, Lazard's in
dim-
his own fantasy world right now.
and they're
pocket
gonna
dimension.
basically make a deal with Freya.
Yeah.
Try to make a deal with Freya.
Yes.
The idea is that the whole point of the game was the thought was that the King of Japan was going to use the Dragon Orb to make a new universe, a pocket dimension where they would be free of Odin's tyranny. And Lazard, since he survived VP1 and he's kind of outside of time, his tower, the Tower of Lazard Valeth, is actually already in that state. So he's actually able to do whatever he wants because he's not bound by the rules of this universe.
Yeah. On the original timeline, Lazard wasn't around, and Alicia and Rufus died when they confronted Odin.
They don't talk about it, but it's implied that at the very top, Rufus is at least killed for sure, and Alicia probably died. They don't really talk about it, but it's pretty much implied because they're saved by Lazard in this timeline. So if Lazard wasn't there, then, well, stuff happens.
And the idea is that Brahms kind of helps break the cycle in VP1 by keeping Lenneth's soul, or Silmeria's soul, trapped inside the crystal.
Yeah.
And not letting it be reincarnated.
So now we get to go through this boring dungeon, but
Yep.
a couple of
Mostly-
tricks in here.
I do like the design of the dungeon though.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So we have to push these pots. Because they activate switches. Don't ask me why the Aesir thought this was the best security system in the world.
And also Arngrim joined.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was just hanging around Valhalla, bored.
He feels remorse for killing the king.
That too.
Yeah.
Bad.
And he offers his life to Alicia in recompense, but she tells him to just join them instead.
Alright. So this would be a decent time for donations.
Nice. Almost got
Cool. We have $100 from Red Balloon Man. He says, RBM here. Sad I can't join my Earthbound family at RPG Limit Break and have to work during Andy's run, so just going to put this toward naming the player in Earthbound Butts. It's a quality name, strong family. I would also say that, remember, we have Suikoden 2 coming up very, very soon. When I say very soon, like half an hour or so. And there are lots of name incentives for that. If you want to have a castle named after you, all you have to do is beat Rom Scout. It's winning at $40, or Suiko SRC at $30. Very easy to snipe at this moment. You could also name the main character and the army. So please keep donations coming in. There are many other goals. You can always take a look through the different things you can bid for. I'm going to go ahead and link that in the chat right now.
Alright. We picked up a second power bangle. So power bangles are different than other colorless accessories because they're one of the few colorless accessories that can stack. Which means that the 30% bonus we get stacks on top of itself.
It's balanced by the fact that there's only 3 in the entire game.
Yeah, they thought that they will only give you 3. If you're wondering what the third one is, it's actually in Yggdrasil, but you have to do like a big puzzle in order to get it.
Well, there are only 3, but if you go all the way to the Innoseraphic Gate, the Holy Dragon Horn has the same effect plus another effect.
Yeah, and it has God Slayer, which is really good for post-game, because all
Yeah.
the enemies post-game are like gods. So... Okay, so yeah, we have to activate more switches.
Yeah, these are a bit more complicated because both of them are out of position.
You want to go down first because later on, like the last room you have to go through is in the top part. So if you head up first, you actually have to put more inputs in. Whew. Bad. I already screwed this up. I'm gonna reset the room because it's a mess at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you have to either block it or just plain freeze it, actually.
Yeah, and again, the photon management in this game and utilization in this game is very difficult. It's very precise.
That's how you're supposed to do it, by the way. And once you mess up, it's like, okay, what do I do?
And like we've talked about a couple of times, photons tend to just do whatever they want. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Is this enemy?
And this is a big enemy that's just there.
You have to change your attacks too.
Yeah, you still have Gale's wins, I think.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have to do another Yu after this, so it's not too big of a deal, but the knockback is good.
First blood. Attack.
Oh yeah, and Rufus came back, so he's alive and at full HP and stuff. We're full HP.
Look at his amazing 369 HP.
Yep.
I can't even take a single hit.
Definitely can't absorb that.
Rip.
I think he got it.
On the plus side, I will probably run around him, because now I have full power on Solitary Struggle.
And now.
Yep.
And we got him to turn around to make Alicia's job easier.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay?
So we're about to...
No, they are not, Alicia. They're all dead with
Yeah.
Power Your Solitary Struggle.
Met by silence after asking if everyone's okay.
Alicia's not very bright.
No, she's really not.
So I want to actually do this, because this determines my fire angle, and I need to freeze this switch.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Sick. Well, you learn something new every day.
What an angle, yeah.
And it's
I
also
think the game just invented new rules.
the game also hates you because you have to freeze it. Oh, you don't?
no.
I thought you
Yeah,
had to freeze it again because
It's really tight timing.
It is, yeah. You can do it. I didn't even know you could do it until I saw Takeshi do it.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do it until about 10 seconds ago.
Just now. Yeah, we all learned something new in this game. New rules everywhere. Fantastic.
So, here's where Freya is, so we're gonna save.
Yeah, because even though she does, what's that skill called? Man, how can I forget the name of Freya's Soul Crush?
Because you never use it. You just use Dylan and you smash the game with one hit.
That's true.
Darn, I don't remember either.
Yeah, it's... Oh my.
If we get unlucky enough, we'll see it.
Your corpses will feed the ravens. I know she says that.
What they're referring to is that when you do the Seraphic Gate, there are several post-game characters that you can get, and Freya is one of them.
Yeah.
You can't actually get her in the main game.
Yeah, she doesn't like mortals. She's just as arrogant as Odin.
She's a big hater.
Freya's a mean lady.
Yeah, she's a big hater. Ooh.
All right, we win.
Nice.
So I brought back Rufus because
Epic Strike, there we go.
Yeah.
This boss is the exact same as Odin in the sense that once she's taken down to 50 HP, she'll use her Soul Crush on you.
And then the battle ends.
Yeah. So as long as you have one person alive, it's fine. Fun fact: if you're using Sunday, you actually kill Freya and Odin before they do their Soul Crush.
Yeah.
They just have so much. He just has so much more power, and Alicia's this like weak little girl.
Yeah, Zunde is very, very, very strong.
Yeah, and it's faster that way because you don't have to see
You
the
don't have to watch Soul
animation.
Crush. Yep. But look, we got all the way to the 6th chapter using Alicia,
And we get the Dragon Orb and the Water Mirror, which do nothing.
which do nothing. Yeah.
And you get Brahms and Harist now. as
Yeah. So Brahms has all of Dylan's skills plus one more, I think.
Yeah.
And Hrist has Leonie's skills plus probably one more also.
And now we're in the Tower of Lazard Valeth, which magically showed up after defeating
Yeah.
Freya. Because Lazard has been doing some experiments in making artificial people. So he can forever be with his wannabe Valkyrie girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which he's not actually, like...
Yeah, if you remember,
Oh
he
yeah,
had a...
and Linus just showed up to help you stop him.
Yeah, because you find out that the Lazard in which you thought was from this timeline. It's actually the Lizard in the first timeline. That's why it's a sequel prequel.
And the one that helped you is also from the first timeline.
Yeah,
She followed them.
She noticed that stuff in her timeline was not making sense, so she figured it must be that jerk Lizard.
So in this place, there are 3 sections that each have a mini-boss at the end. This is some sort of gigantic troll. I don't know his name.
He's actually called Gigantic Troll. Very fittingly called Gigantic Troll, by the way, because he's a jerk.
It's a lot easier with Alicia though, because she's a small girl.
No, it isn't. Don't kid yourself.
I don't know. Sunday can't get past that big dude unless like you actually move him. Pretty difficult in itself.
So we're gonna try the Takeshi strat, but we're probably not gonna do it because it's hard.
Arngrim gets to talk for once.
By the way, those dashes, you want to do them in the chain because these enemies can sometimes use a spell called Reflect Sorcery, which does nothing but waste time. But if you chain your dashes, you can actually reach them before they cast it.
Nice.
So.
Alright, and those were mainly to restore AP?
What?
Or
Restore AP.
Yeah, you restore AP and you so that when you do this and you fail it, you don't get ninja'd. Because those skeletons can summon reinforcements. And those reinforcements can act instantly, so... If you play Fire Emblem and you thought those guys were bad, well, let me tell you about VP2. This is actually not the good way of doing it, but this is really, really hard.
Yeah, your AP is too low to do it the normal way.
So he's staggering his attacks to try to compensate for the lower AP.
Let me describe how you're actually supposed to kill him. You're supposed to do 4 hits to his chest, but the only attack that seems to hit the right hitbox is Myri's Pierce. In the true Takeshi way, you only kill 1 skeleton because taking out a second skeleton is slow. So what you end up doing is you kill only 1 skeleton, and then you have to do that process in 1 chain. You don't get a second chance. If you screw up, the skeletons will summon their buddies and you'll die. Because they will summon reinforcements that ninja you.
Right.
Alright, so we're getting closer to the next mini-boss.
Yeah, Vampire Lord. He is a really annoying guy. He, well, the arena's kind of constrained, and you have to getting past him is dashing past him is pretty annoying. But
well, this is why we don't even bother with him at all.
Yeah.
We don't do this anymore. So shoutouts to Rizard, who spent time figuring this out, because there's a way to skip this boss by like tricking the game into giving you an extra mid-air jump, which you're not supposed to have.
Just keep hitting it.
And this is actually a very difficult trick to do, in my opinion.
There are visual cues. Rizard and I use different ones, but there is a way to set this up so that it's more consistent. But if you don't know how to do it, it's hard. So yeah, we don't fight him because we just skipped him.
Yeah, actually that was my plan, to build him up and then watch you skip him.
Yeah. Well, I think in like the really old routes, you fight him, and actually Takeshi still fights him. The same guy who does the crazy stuff doesn't do that skip because he's like, it's not consistent enough. And I'm like, dude,
first try marathon run.
It's like it's not.
No problem.
I don't know if the Japanese consider that a glitch because Japanese runners have this tendency to be very against glitches for some reason. But it's one of those things that, in my opinion, like if he learned, his time would be even faster. It's just like if you're wondering how good his time is, by the way, Rizard, who's the North American world record holder, has a 2:02. Takeshi has a 1:47. Like, the timing is just... I don't know whether it's because it's just game differences that we don't know about, but, like, the man is just insane.
Alright,
Forget training when it comes to real.
Let's go, Arngrim.
Yeah, we're ignoring Alicia. Who cares about her?
Yeah.
Nice wall.
How is it?
I knew that was gonna happen. Oh, and they refill their health after every attack, every time you hit them.
So, I talked about how bad Arngrim is in this game. This is his moment. And he gets one. And he double rings out the boss, and that's the end of this battle.
Yep.
So
Yeah, because we don't need the experience, we don't need the skill points, so...
You don't get skill points for leaderless battles anyway.
We just eject them, because, like, who cares? We just want to get the game done and over with at this point.
And apparently you get Silmeria's soul back from that homunculus.
Yeah. So Silmeria finally joins you at, like, the last room of the game, quite literally. And you get to use her for one battle, even though this game is named after her.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, she
design.
was inside Alicia for the first 4 chapters.
Yeah. Well, they gave her like an actual skill set and everything, but it's like, really at this point in the game, like, are you really gonna use Silmeria? Probably not.
Well, she's usable in post game.
You could. I've used her before. She's not bad, but she's not great either.
Yeah.
So, oh boy, I gotta do this fight, which
Without
I've been practicing
Magician
all
Slayer.
day without Magician Slayer. It's actually really dangerous.
Yep. We're finally going to put an end to Lazard.
If you have Magician Slayer, by the way, this fight is free. But if you don't have Magician Slayer, it's hard.
Yeah, now we're gonna fight Super Saiyan. I mean, Super
Yeah.
Lizard.
Super Saiyan.
Not Super
No, it's
Lizard,
just Lizard.
just regular human Lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Regular.
should probably leave this place
Yeah.
and Kelleran his home.
Yeah.
Here we go. So this is a very similar strategy that we've seen quite often, but my
Quite frankly,
Oh,
the
shoot.
mere existence
I
of
think we're
creatures
dead.
as weak as yourself is
I just realized I didn't do a menu,
Uh-oh.
but yeah, this is exciting. There's one thing I learned from my mentor LCC is that you never give up. So let's find out what happens. Probably not good things.
Lizard's turn radius
This is
so
dampen
crazy.
magic.
Yep. I still don't want him to use it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ooh,
Oh no, you're silenced.
The
What
dan-
will you? What will you do?
the dance there was pretty impressive.
Uh-oh.
This man is actually very, very slippery.
Yeah. Of course, you
Yeah,
want to be
he's
behind.
one of the hardest enemies to circle around. Is he gonna dampen? Is that dampen magic again on
Yep.
Arngrim?
Yep.
He was insistent that he was going to silence Arngrim there.
Does that even do anything if the target isn't a mage?
No, I
No,
don't think
not
so.
really.
Well, I think it increases your stats with some equipment.
I think Alicia actually does know magic.
She does, but we don't use it.
Yeah, you don't use it.
So that was a really
I
slow
think there are a
fight,
couple light
but
warriors
I
that
set
play
up
magic.
Oh yeah.
Alicia incorrectly. Because she's supposed to have
archers
cross
have it.
slash, and cross slash is supposed to push Lizard back far enough that he actually hits Arngrim with this target in the zone. So that he will instant kill Arngrim, and then Alicia just finishes him off. But what I found out is that if you don't have Magician Slayer, you actually need to bait him around and get more AP.
So,
Because if you try to kill him that way, you won't do enough damage, and then he can use his Great Magic, which you can't block, and it's multi-target, so you can't do any anchor-type strats, and you die if that happens.
What a dodge.
Sick.
Truly
so
a god gamer.
through this place is the last save in the game.
Last save in the game, indeed.
Yeah.
So
Right
we're
here.
almost done.
So now we're going to fight.
Oh right, and all 3 Valkyries left your party after that battle.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah. 'Cause
Lazard killed them, and you kind of preserved them somehow.
Lizard used the
those
modified version of the Sovereign's
Sovereign's
Right
Right,
to
yeah.
extract Lena's soul.
Yeah.
So now you can hear him creeping out in the background. Let's
Yeah.
all listen. Lizard, please.
He's not going to do it. He decided he's not going to do it.
We have 2 rooms. There's plenty of time to curve over Lena. Or
And-
he cannot.
And
That
that's
jerk.
kind of his whole purpose in life is he's madly in love with Lenneth. So in Valkyrie Profile 1, he actually kills himself to become an
Oh,
Einherjar.
there we go.
And he doesn't really do it. She thinks it's to help her. And he really does it because he knows that if he's her Einherjar, he'll be able to use the Sovereign Right after she resets the timeline and fixes everything.
Yeah, Lizard's actually like really smart, but he's like a
Alright.
creeper.
Yeah,
So
he's-
here's the first form of the final boss.
Oh yeah. Best theme in the game.
Check out that amazing voice acting.
Liam O'Brien, please.
and this whole purpose, the whole process for this whole thing has been for him to essentially bypass Odin and become like the
So
first.
he has a lot of HP, but you don't need to kill him. You just need to deal 1,000 damage and then attack the crystal.
The setup is all wrong right now.
Oh boy. He still did half though. That's enough.
Prepare thyself.
Oh boy.
Gungnir.
It's okay. Arngrim's supposed to be dead.
Goongnir, right?
Gungnir is how they pronounce it.
Goongnir. Like Loki says it in VP1.
Oh.
Gunslap
We don't-
from
we don't-
FF7.
We don't talk about the voice acting in
VP1.
VP1.
I think 544 plus 483 is greater than.
Yeah,
what's
I'm
that?
not capable of doing basic math when I'm playing this game because I have to focus a lot. And it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Many
Especially if you have
times
a
in this
charge,
game.
especially if you have a charge break anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're on the final form. So I'm doing safe strats because I don't have to set up for a quick kill.
And if you have like a super powered heavy warrior, you could just do the entire battle in one hit by having it first hit Lazard and then later in the swing hits the crystal.
Yeah. Because you can actually splash damage to crystal. They didn't really think it through, so you can actually do that. Because normally the trick or the gimmick in that fight is you have to stun Lazard because the crystal has 90% damage resistance. So he's supposed to be all godly right now.
It's like we talked about earlier, he gave some people some equipment, gave him a couple extra experiences so he can smash through and make Valkyrie incredibly strong. And now that's going to be what he uses to beat the game.
So I'm going to set the mytho plate just
So
for
3 Valkyries and Alicia combined to make
Yeah.
the one true Valkyrie.
And she has Alicia's skills and nothing else. Oh, and there's one more skill she has. Probably toughness.
She
because I
has
don't think-
toughness, that's the big one. Which is also why dying in this last fight is not as likely as you think, but you can die if you're not careful. Also, Brahms has Mind Lock, which is the big reason why you want to bring him to this fight. So I think now I need to set attacks.
Yeah, don't forget those.
It's
And
kind of important.
in the first game, Odin talks about how the Valkyries are separated into 3 different souls, so that way they can't be greater than him.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be more powerful than even him, because they're goddesses of fate and can manipulate fate, which he can't do.
Check out that amazing
That
laugh.
laugh, dude.
That laugh is so good. It's so good.
Like this is why I don't understand your opinion of VP1.
Dude, it's so
Lazard.
good.
Oh, and get ready on time.
I shall give you peace.
Yeah, the time ends on last hits. Wow.
I am a god. Oops. Whatever. Check out all that HP I have
It's crazy.
that we like never had throughout this entire run.
Yeah. You actually were able to eat a hit. It's crazy.
You can eat like a bunch of hits.
Ah, damn it,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That meteor
This
storm?
isn't,
No.
this isn't a bad. This isn't too bad.
Yeah, it's fine. I
Still
actually want to
hurts.
get damaged anyway because I can
Dragon Root.
force the Dragon Rip to proc, and then we'll pretty much destroy Lazard.
Again.
That's great.
I have too much elemental resistances and too much HP. Valkyrie literally just tanking.
Don't remember what this is.
That's his instant death attack.
So one of the things we didn't really talk about is there are a lot of times you see Tide real quick before he starts time in a minute, but it's not quite time yet. But when he dashes, if you press square or your attack button in the middle of a dash, you can kind of cancel it into an attack, which he's done 100 times in a run that I don't think we ever even mentioned.
Yeah.
It just totally
You can
slipped my
just
mind.
attack mid dash, basically.
Yeah.
Very useful.
It's super useful if you know when to time it.
I'm worried about pressure sensitivity right now.
That should be
Whatever, let's
fine
go
though.
for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Time.
time. We're done.
I think we had 0 tri-aces and 1 death.
Yeah.
0 tries and 1
What a
death.
good
What a
PS2,
run.
dude.
What's a
Dude.
tri-ace in this context?
What's my final time?
Right
228.
there.
Yeah, 228.
Okay, it's the last minute. That's all I care about.
Yeah, the tri-aces in this game and like Star Ocean 3, the game fails to load the next zone. So instead of crashing, it kind of like mini crashes and has to reload everything, so you lose a bunch of time.
Yeah.
It tends to happen on different versions of PS2 just kind of randomly.
You damned human!
Pardon me?
I believe that's me.
That was
A soul.
Wow.
RIP.
All right.
It was good to see you, buddy. It's good to see you. I'll see you.
So yeah, now the ending of the game plays. The interesting thing is that the ending of this game is actually really short. It's like 10 minutes. For like a JRPG of this era, it's like unheard of. But basically, Lazard realizes that like he's lost because he's against the goddess of fate. So at the very end of this cutscene, the Tower of Lazard Valve breaks down because Lazard's no longer there. And then we get to a deserted area where you just have Rufus, Arngrim, and Brahms kind of contemplating what to do. So Rufus decides that he's going to help restore the world. So because he's in half-elf, he takes Gungnir back to Valhalla with him. And Brahms decides that he wants to die because now that Odin is technically dead, and there's nothing else in the world that's threatening, he has no real purpose to be alive. So he decides to stay, and Arngrim is all like, let me join you, but Brahms is like, no, you have to take the Dragon Orb back, because I'm a lazy bum. So Arngrim's all like, you want me to be the caretaker of the orb? And Brahms is like, who else is there? Obviously ignoring the fact that he can take it back with him.
Yeah. Brahms is essentially just a giant lazy bum.
Yeah. So that basically happens, and if you're wondering what happens to Alicia, well, you're about to find out. So, there is some romantic undertones with Rufus and Alicia, but I don't really care about it. So,
no. I didn't really much care about Rufus in general.
Yeah.
Bible thump.
He's kind of
Bible thump.
I don't know.
RIP.
Oh no. Darn.
Alicia!
He doesn't know what he's fighting for anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Tower Lazar Valve breaks down, and then our heroes go their separate ways, and then Brahms just dies because he's like, whatever, I'm out, boys. You don't need to be any anymore.
Yeah, it's not really a tower. It's more like a pocket dimension he created, similar to like Yggdrasil.
And then there's a bonus cutscene at the end of this entire thing where you see baby Alicia, because she's reincarnated through the process of the rebirth cycle in the game. And if you actually kill the final boss without using Valkyrie, the epilogue cutscene changes to, I believe, it becomes baby Lazard.
I think you just see Alicia and/or Lazard in the scene just as an Easter egg.
I'm pretty sure you see Lazard. Like it's the way of saying like even like sinners, like their souls get recycled. And baby Lazard looks very much like Harry Potter, even though he already looks like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Even more so.
I haven't seen either ending in a while.
Neither have I, because yeah, you can skip this ending by the way. Yeah. So if we're behind, we can cut stream and move onwards.
Cut stream.
Otherwise, someone can come on.
Yeah, let's.
Wow.
All right, good job, everybody. All right, cool.
Probably need to swap.
We're gonna go ahead and call that the marathon.
So twisted.
Well, thank you very much for this wonderful run.
Someone has to
Excellent
straighten it
job.
out.
Definitely underestimate, and good job, no triple aces or whatever they're called. Try aces. Try triple, you know.
Who made the game?
Who else can do it?
Cool. We have a $55 donation from Gurgluck, who says, here's to 6.5 hours of me.
I'm going to Asgard.
I'm not
Gungnir
sure.
is the
Is
key.
that someone you know?
It needs to
Gurgluck?
be returned for Asgard to be safe.
Apparently he's very excited for this next game, though.
Battle the gods.
Thank you, guy who we do not know. Anonymous gave $50 and said, donation from a person who beat his mental illness to help
I wonder
other
how old
people
Freya will
dealing
take
with
it.
mental illnesses. Thank you very much for your donations. And remember, we are getting pretty darn close to cutting off
friend.
donation incentives for Suikoden. So, oh, okay, the rest can wait. But if you want that main character name, bam, got to get it right now. Thank you very much.
I don't know how, but in this world, I'm no longer undead. What do you mean?
To be named the main character, we can put that towards you. because that would put you in the
I
lead to
feel
be named
mortal.
Gurgluck.
It's the sensation I once
So
had.
if anybody else wants to snipe Gurgluck and not give him 6.5 hours of joy, then now is the time to do so.
This is a good place to die.
You're going to stay here?
There's no other place to go for this demon.
I
The same
feel
goes for
mortal.
me. I'll join you.
No, you won't.
Nuh-uh.
You were once human. You have work to do.
I like how Brahms
The
says he
task of
was once
preparing
human,
Midgard
but
still
Brahms was also
looms.
once human.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what
You
is
want
Bronze
me to be
backstory? I don't even
guardian
know.
of the orb?
That's why I say Brahms is
else
just a
is
lazy
there?
bum.
Brahms was a warrior like Angrim, and he died and became one of Silmeria's Einherjar, and he became so powerful that he became so powerful that Odin became afraid of him, and Odin and him, he decided that he didn't want to serve
all
Odin
end
anymore,
up
and he didn't like being an Einherjar, so he fought Odin and was defeated.
Right, we're going to start moving things along. Thank you again, Tide. Want to give you.
Let's go.
I'll say that now. Well, I was gonna wait. I didn't want to put any pressure on him. It looks like.
Let's see.
Yeah, those chairs are actually super comfortable. These chairs.
Am I the only one who's like a little bit off one?
So again?
I expected like a nice, firm, hard, reassuring chair. Like, stop, that's fine. I'm like, hey fam.
It looks like it should be here, but it's not showing up.
They're pretty comfortable. They're much more comfortable than the couch.
I'm not actually on the couch yet, but may I?
Oh,
okay. What is it like? Wait your turn.
No, I already sat on it. Me. This couch has been
Okay.
around. What I mean by a lot of people sat on it. You guys took that.
The responsibility.
That's the thing.
6 hours of shiny force.
Yeah. Bring a pillow. Better make it fast than that.
Couch fast, type for all the risky strats. 6, 29, 15, 59. I'm not going to do a single save. Not a single quick save. No save and reset. I'm just going to wire it. Who needs a protect ring anyway? Yeah. And then put a power cord in my lap. Sneak it into. For what? Sorry. Exactly what you expect. Look, I'm just a boy, all right, please. That's the most menacing thing I've ever heard. Do you want to go and do some stuff in the other room? I'm like, please fill me in with the details, boys. Which bad thing are you referring to? Oh, group photo, of course, yes. Let's go. Find out soon enough. Should be all better now. And then just need to back down. Did I tell you that I bought more than? Yeah, that's what I saw them. There was there. I took a
Up next, we have Suikoden 2, run by OmniGamer. A little bit of a longer run to take us into the night. Taking over and hosting is me, Obda Jr.
Mr. Wondershot himself.
Yes. Just setting up now.
It is on. We're just check to see if it's on the TV.
It's not on TV.
It's not. Is the TV signal set to 1? No. No, it will. Just leave it. Yes. There it is. Oh, let me.
The chat requests away from the lone stranger in the back.
It's not a stranger. It's
They call him
Wells.
the lone stranger. Hi ho tonto away and all that lot.
Taking the soul's position in our audience is Mr. Wells. As well as one headset on a couch. And Mr. Old-Timey Football Guy in the picture.
Go into the game first.
The most loyal viewer. He's been here the entire marathon, even through setup.
Do we have 5 minutes? I'm going to just run to the bathroom. So, Freddie, what's the language?
Sure. All right, while we're setting up, we'll just remind you guys that we are RPG Limit Break, charity speedrunning marathon here in Ohio, raising money for NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, who support... sorry. Yes, it's been a long day. A grassroots organization focused on making the lives better for people with mental illness through advocacy, education, research, and they're the largest grassroots organization in America, I believe. Make sure to check out our prize index for this run, which is Suikoden 2, if you didn't catch it. We have something really cool. It was a PS4... Oh, a PlayStation TV. Minimum donation for that is $10. And that'll be for the entire Suikoden 2 any % run. We have a little bit more time to get your name in for the bid war to have your name as the main character in Suikoden 2. Very close to cutting that off. It'll be cut off as soon as the game starts here. But we also have names for the army and the castle. For naming the army, we have 4 different choices, or you can make your own. In the lead at $100 is D Choco, probably something to do with our Dark Overlord. We also we also have Meat Shield, because that is what the army does. And that's at $60, and then we have $10 both for SRM, which I am not sure what that's reference to, and Egg, which hopefully is something awesome. For naming the castle, we have a couple options as well. Rom Scout is in the lead with $40. Suiko SRC in second place with $30. And the last one is Cheese, which I hope will be hilarious.
All right.
We have OmniGamer back in the
Hello, everybody.
You know, I don't really know. Suikoden.
Yep. I'll go into a little bit more of what that is later. Sure. So this is just a test real quick. Sure. Actually.
Hello. Test, test, test.
So you probably want it 1080p, don't you? The game will be 4x3. Okay. Well, we'll get it going then.
Test, test, test.
All right.